Chapter 254. I don't think my relationship with Suyu is good enough for me to accept something that's worth tens of millions. Indeed, Huamin was right. If Suyu had given her a box of milk or a box of mooncakes, she would have accepted it without hesitation. However, he gave her a car that was worth tens of millions. Why should she accept something that she didn't deserve? Are you stupid? Young Master Su is so generous, so of course he likes you. Why don't you take advantage of this opportunity? After you sleep with him, you can take anything that's expensive. Do you know how many women in our hospital dream of this opportunity? I don't know what other people think, but I won't. First of all, I have a boyfriend, so I won't do anything to betray him. Second of all, Suyu and I won't have any breakthroughs in our relationship. Also, I hope that this will end here. Don't spread this around. I'm scared that if the director hears about this, he'll fire me because of my bad behavior. Huamin, you're so stupid. If I were you, I would definitely take advantage of this opportunity. That's why Suyu doesn't like you. Huamin felt that a nurse like Nan Nan was pitiful. Many women worshipped money and dreamed of marrying into a rich family. However, some things couldn't be rushed. The more anxious you were, the less chance you had. Moreover, she believed that no man would like a woman who loved money purely and had a strong motive. Even if he was ugly, he would rather believe that his girlfriend was in love with him and not for money. Nan Nan was speechless by Huamin's words. During lunch break, Huamin sat in the back garden after lunch and played with her phone. Because it was Chinese Valentine's Day, many friends posted the red packets their boyfriends gave them. There were 13, 14, and 520 red packets. In short, there were all sorts of public displays of affection. Even Zhu Lingling cruelly posted a group photo and a 5,210 yuan transfer record. It was too cruel. After Huamin lamented for a while, she posted on her WeChat moments. She said, I really want to ask the girl who posted her husband's red packets today, where did your husband's secret stash come from? Do you still want to live? Hiding so much behind his wife's back? Zhu Lingling immediately replied, You're just jealous. Is it because your almighty Qin didn't say anything? Huamin was just about to reply when he received a notification of a transfer. Sure enough, it was sent by Qin Chu. Huamin checked the amount. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. $131,400. Wasn't this lifetime a little too extravagant? Therefore, Huamin took a screenshot and sent it to Zhu Lingling. On the other end, he immediately replied, Our friendship is over. Don't return. Now it's your turn to be envious and jealous, right? Huamin felt really good. Then she replied to Qin Chu, A husband who hides money behind his wife's back is not a good husband. Then I'll ask my lawyer to transfer GK's assets to you. Will your dad hack you to death? No, my dad will probably hack you to death, Qin Chu replied. Huamin was speechless. Mr. Qin, stop messing around. I'm serious, you don't believe that I'll give GK to you? No, I don't believe that your dad will hack me to death, Huamin replied confidently. As expected, Qin Chu didn't reply. After a while, Huamin sent him another message. Hubby, what? Your bank card is amazing, you can transfer so much money. Why is my WeChat account only able to transfer 10,000 at most? What bank is yours? I'll get one too. The first Royal MasterCard Black Card in Dubai. This name sounds so high and mighty. Yeah, it's a diamond and gold-plated credit card. There's no limit to how much money you can spend. Okay, you win. I'll get you a secondary card later. No, I have enough money. I'm afraid that I'll steal all your money. Steal it all you want. I'm yours anyway, why do you care about money? Mr. Rich, let's be friends, Huamin joked. Sure, to show your sincerity, give me a child first. As the couple played around, their love boat capsized. After sending Qin Chu a WeChat message, she was in a good mood. She stood up, put her phone in her pocket, and walked back while humming a song. Upstairs, Suyu saw Huamin's blissful smile and was almost certain that she had a boyfriend. But why couldn't he find anything even after asking so many people to investigate? Could it be that someone was hiding it on purpose? Also, This person was very capable and could hinder his subordinates' efficiency. Young master, Miss Xianxia is here. Let her in. Su Yu turned around, his eyes cold as usual. Chapter 255. President Su. Xianxia was one of the most popular actresses. Because she starred in 3 palace dramas, she became one of the 4 most popular actresses in China. She looked pure and sweet, and she was only 24 years old, the same age as Huamin. Imperial Star had a lot to do with the fact that she was able to rise to fame in 3 years. Apparently, she risked her life to stop Su Yu's car, which gave her a chance to become famous. If it weren't for Su Yu's excellent driving skills and his timely braking, Xianxia would have been killed. Not many people dared to imitate her reckless actions. It was her courage that piqued Su Yu's interest in her. As one of Su Yu's girlfriends, Xianxia was one of his favorites. Because she was obedient and knew when to stop, she had been with Su Yu for 3 years. She had made a name for herself in the entertainment industry, and no one dared to break the rules with her. Those who didn't know the truth thought that this girl came from a rich family. However, everyone in the industry knew that she was Su Yu's toy, the kind that could be eliminated at any time. Su Yu turned around and didn't say anything. She immediately put down her Chanel bag, walked over in small steps, and helped Su Yu to the bed. I just came back from filming overseas. I heard that you'll be discharged soon. That's great news. Xianxia's voice was pleasant, like a baby's voice. Su Yu didn't seem to be in the mood, so he only grunted. When I was filming in Nanling, I saw that this lighter was really fun. It's an antique and has a lot of local characteristics, so I bought one for you. Xianxia took out a lighter from her bag and handed it to him as if she was presenting a treasure. Su Yu took it and hit it twice. His face was expressionless, and no one could tell if he was happy or angry. My movie's premiere is next month. Can you go? Xianxia looked at Su Yu coquettishly. I'll see. Xianxia nodded and didn't dare to say anything else. Perhaps she could tell that Su Yu wasn't in a good mood. Haven't you always said that you like pink Lamborghini? I'll give you the one outside. Huh? Xianxia didn't expect Su Yu to say that. She was stunned. When she had first walked in, she had indeed seen a diamond-studded pink Lamborghini at the entrance. At that time, she had wondered which woman was so lucky. So it was Su Yu's car. For me? Xianxia found it hard to believe. Yes, it's yours. Thank you, President Su. Xianxia quickly kissed Su Yu on the cheek. Su Yu grabbed a tissue and immediately wiped off the fragrant lipstick. I'm sorry, President Su. I'm just too happy to receive such an expensive gift from you. You can drive it away in a while. Su Yu's tone had always been very low, as if he was not in the mood. Thank you, President Su. Xianxia thanked him several times in a row. It was obvious that she was very excited. She could already imagine that when she drove out later and was photographed by the media, it would definitely make the headlines. By then, all the women in the industry would be jealous of her. Who told her to be lucky enough to work for Su Yu? Su Yu indeed had a bad temper. Most of the time, she felt like she was serving an emperor. She had to be very careful, afraid that she would make a mistake. However, compared to the things she would receive, it was all worth it. After all, the fame and fortune that Su Yu brought to her were things that many women would never be able to obtain in their lifetime. Seeing the unconcealable happiness on Xianxia's face, Su Yu was even more certain that all women liked luxury. But why was Huamin an exception? Why couldn't she be as obedient as Xianxia? Xianxia stayed in the room for 3 hours. Before she left, she specially touched up her makeup. When she passed by the on-call desk, she glanced at Huamin and suddenly asked, Are you Huamin? I am. I heard that you've been taking care of President Su all this time. Xianxia vaguely heard that Su Yu had been treating a nurse named Huamin differently recently. However, she could understand. With Su Yu's status, he was only fooling around with nurses while he was in the hospital. He wouldn't take it seriously. Huamin nodded. As his girlfriend, I'm very grateful that you've been taking care of my boyfriend. I just bought this wallet. I haven't used it for a few days. You can have it. Then, before Huamin could say anything, Zhao Qingya threw a Prada wallet in front of Huamin as if she was giving alms to a beggar. Miss Xiao, wait, Huamin yelled. Do you want my autograph or a photo? Zhao Qingya asked arrogantly as she turned around. Chapter 256. Neither, I just want you to take your wallet back, I can't accept it. Huamin shoved the wallet into Zhao Qingya's hands. Is it because the hospital doesn't allow you to accept gifts? It's okay, this isn't a bribe, it's a gift from me. No, it's my own problem. Thank you for your kindness, Miss Xiao. Zhao Qingya held onto the wallet, feeling a little uncomfortable. She thought that she could show off as Su Yu's girlfriend and scare the nurse away. After all, she was one of Su Yu's women who had been with him for a long time. However, the nurse didn't want to accept the gift. Did that mean that she still hadn't given up on Su Yu? Did she still want to get more benefits from Su Yu? At that thought, Zhao Qingya's face darkened. She looked at Huamin from head to toe and said, I thought you were a smart person who knew when to stop, but it seems like you're just an idiot who wants to climb up the social ladder. You're not the prettiest woman in the world, nor are you the daughter of a famous family. Where did you get the confidence to continue pestering Su Yu? A smart woman would retreat at the last moment. She would take advantage of the fact that President Su was not tired of playing with her. Otherwise, she would be abandoned in the future, and her ending would be even worse than now. If she accidentally angered him, she might not be able to stay in Sea City in the future. So, did she really not plan to stop while she was ahead? Do you really want to compete with me? Or, do you think you're prettier than me and more popular than me? Zhao Qingya's hostile words made Huamin sigh slightly. She sighed. Why was it that in the eyes of these women, the most important thing was always related to men? Couldn't they have their own thoughts? Miss Zhao, I think you've misunderstood something. Su Yu and I don't care about what's going on between you and President Su. President Su has so many women, I'm used to it. I just want to remind you not to have too many fantasies. President Su isn't a man that ordinary women can control. You're on your own. Then, Zhao Qingya put on her sunglasses and walked away. Huamin was speechless. Huasiqian had told him the same thing, and now Zhao Qingya was telling him the same thing. The problem was, when did they see anything between her and Su Yu? She thought that she treated Su Yu better than Uncle Lu in the next room. At least, she was nice to Uncle Lu, and they often played chess together. Zhao Qingya drove away in a pink Lamborghini and made the headlines that night. The Imperial Star's boss, President Su Yu's limited edition Lamborghini. The news about Zhao Qingya and Su Yu's wedding had been hyped up. Ever since Zhao Qingya's debut, her PR team had been hyping it up. Zhao Qingya had never responded to it directly, but every time this news came out, it would benefit Zhao Qingya's social status and the Gu Corporation of Imperial Star. It was Su Yu's way of hyping things up. After all, Zhao's esthesis, however, everyone in the industry knew that this was fake news. It was impossible for Zhao Qingya to marry into the Su family. Old Master Su was the head of the military region, and his family had strict rules. He said that his granddaughter-in-law could be in any profession, except for the entertainment industry. It was said that Su Yu was very obedient to his grandpa, so he only listened to romantic news to relieve his boredom. If he really did lose, he would lose. That night, when Huamin was on duty, Nenan held the newspaper and complained, "Look, young Master Su gave away something you didn't want. That's tens of millions. What a pity, I feel bad for you." It wasn't mine to begin with. It's not a pity. Huamin smiled. You're such a weirdo. I really have to hand it to you. You're not even moved by the rich and powerful. You really love your boyfriend, don't you? Nan looked at Huamian with an exasperated expression. Huamin smiled but did not respond. The truth was, even if Qin Chu didn't exist, she still wouldn't have accepted Su Yu. She hated the fights between rich families. If she didn't even want to go back to the Hua family, why would she want to marry into the rich and powerful Su family? While he was on duty, someone in room 2 suddenly pressed the emergency bell. Huamin rushed over like the wind, thinking that Uncle Lu was in an emergency. When he went in, he saw that Uncle Lu was not only fine, but he was also munching on an apple. There was also a mother-in-law of Uncle Lu's age standing by the bed. She was dressed elegantly and looked kind. Huamin knew that she was Uncle Lu's wife. Apparently, she just came back from Hawaii. He had seen her photo on Uncle Lu's phone before, so he was familiar with her. Uncle Lu, what's going on? Huamin was confused. Come here, Huamian, sit down. We have good news to announce, said Uncle Lu mysteriously. What good news? Huamin looked at the old couple suspiciously. Chapter 257. Uncle Lu put down the unfinished apple in his hand and looked at Huamin with a smile. Since you've been taking good care of me, playing chess with me, and watching me take my medicine, my wife and I have decided to introduce you to a boyfriend. I've been observing you, and you have a good personality. Out of all the nurses in the hospital, you're the most reliable one. You dress plainly, and most importantly, you're not ostentatious. Not many young people are like you these days. That's right. Our family's old Lu has always told me how good you are. I believe that his taste is not wrong. Hey, wait, Uncle Lu, Don't say anything, listen to me. My grandson is already married, so there's no chance of you getting together. However, my fourth brother has a grandson who is about your age. He's an honest guy, and he's serving in the Air Force. He's a company commander now, and he's young and promising. Most importantly, he will continue to be promoted in the future. He lives in S City, and when you get married, if you don't want to live in S City, you can continue to work and live here. It's so close, so it won't be a problem. Huamin was sweating profusely. What was going on? They hadn't even met yet, but they were already talking about marriage. The problem was she was already married. Uncle Lu was trying to matchmake her. Huamin immediately stood up. Uncle Lu, I'm sorry, I know you're a little embarrassed, so I booked everything for you. My grandson is coming over tomorrow. You two can meet and chat when he comes to visit me. Young people always have things to talk about. It would be best if you two can get together, but if not, you can at least make friends. Uncle Lu was quite open-minded. Uncle Lu's boss chimed in, that's right. That kid is definitely reliable. He's a little old-fashioned, but he's very reliable. Don't worry, we won't cheat you. I know you mean well, but the problem is, I'm already. Oh, turn on the TV. Don't miss the news. Uncle Lu slapped his forehead and immediately looked for the remote control. Uncle Lu's wife also got busy and ignored Huamin's protests. Huamin quietly walked out of the hospital room. It seemed like she was going to have another ridiculous blind dates. If Mr. Qin found out, he would probably beat her to death. She shuddered at the thought. The next morning, sure enough, before Huamin got off work, Uncle Lu's grandson came. In order to lighten the mood, Uncle Lu purposely asked the two of them to take a walk in the back garden and chat. Hello, my name is Lu Ji. The man with a square face and a dark temper took the initiative to introduce himself. Hello, my name is, you're Huamian, right? I heard from my third grandpa that you're a very special girl. No, it's just that my temper is a little worse than the other nurses. I'm a little impatient. Huamin smiled. It's good to be in a hurry. Impatient people have a sense of time and won't be late. I hate people who are late the most. In our army, we can't make any mistakes. Yes, I heard from Grandpa Lu that you're a company commander. You're quite impressive. What's so great about that? My military rank is the lowest in my family. My goal is to become a regiment commander at the very least. Huamin nodded. She didn't have anything to say and felt a little awkward. Then what do you think of me? To be honest, I don't have time to date in the army. So, if I'm interested in a girl, I'll just ask for her opinion. Don't mind my recklessness, the square-faced man suddenly said straightforwardly. Chapter 258. Huamin bit his lips, looked up and said, You're great, but I already have a boyfriend. The square-faced guy was confused. I wanted to tell you yesterday, but Uncle Lu didn't give me the chance. I'm so sorry. It's okay, it's not too late to tell you now. You're very honest. We have to be honest. I'm really sorry if I caused you any trouble. Don't worry about it, the men in the Lu family aren't promiscuous or perverted. We still have to be tolerant. Huamin, although the square-faced guy wasn't good with words and wasn't as pretentious as the forensic doctor, he was still a weirdo. Every sentence he said was classic, and Huamin almost laughed out loud. After the two of them finished talking, they walked back and unexpectedly bumped into Suyu at the door. Blind date? While Suyu was taking a walk, he heard a few gossipy nurses secretly gossip about Huamin's blind date. He was so angry that he wasn't even in the mood to take a walk, so he went straight to the back garden. Before Huamin could answer, Suyu glanced at the shoulder patch on the square-faced guy's military uniform and sneered, "Just a company commander?" "Yes, company commander." The square-faced guy nodded. "I say, Huamin couldn't stand it anymore and wanted to say something. "However," Suyu said recklessly, "a company commander wants to come to South Side to pick up girls? Who gave you the confidence? Don't you know that any of the patients here can earn more in a month than you can in your entire life?" "Suyu, you're crossing the line." Huamin warned him with a dark expression. The square-faced guy was Uncle Lu's grandson, so why did he have to be so sarcastic? "Huamin, this is your boyfriend, right? I think you should reconsider if you want to continue with him. Men who are too narrow-minded usually don't have much potential." After speaking, the square-faced gentleman and Huamin nodded and left. Normally, Suyu would fly into a rage after hearing this, but he was exceptionally calm today. This was because that brat actually mistook him for Huamin's boyfriend. He was very happy about this. Huamin was so angry that he turned around and wanted to leave, but Suyu shamelessly blocked his way. "A good pig doesn't block the way." "Move aside," Huamin said angrily. Suyu raised his eyebrows. "Good pig? Shouldn't it be that a good dog doesn't block the way? I think your character is far inferior to dogs. Dogs are our best friends, but obviously you are not." "Huamin, I'm in a good mood today. I won't hold anything against you. I'll pardon you. But I'm not in a good mood today. Move aside, I'm going home after work." "Damned girl, wait, I have something to say. Hurry up, I don't have much time." Looking at his watch, Huamin only wanted to go home as soon as possible so that he could make a delicious breakfast for Qin Chu. "I'll be discharged in a few days." When Suyu said this, the shock on his face returned to seriousness. He was a special patient. He never wore a hospital gown because he thought it was too low class. Every day, he would change into luxurious branded clothes. He was very handsome. The female nurses at Southside were often mesmerized by Suyu's appearance. Even if he inadvertently glanced at a nurse, that nurse would remain silent and infatuated for the entire day. Huamin didn't pay attention to what Suyu wore every day because her attention wasn't on Suyu. However, standing face to face with the sun shining brightly today, it wasn't easy to ignore him. Different from Qin Chu, Suyu liked white, light coffee, khaki, beige, and a series of bright colors. These colors looked especially good on him. Wearing a custom-made Ferragamo white long-sleeved shirt with English letters printed on it, it was simple but luxurious. Suyu was the kind of man who was born with a temperament. Even if he wore clothes from a street stall that cost 20 yuan, others would think that it was a luxury item worth more than 100,000 yuan. "Congratulations, you should be discharged soon." Huamin immediately agreed. "Before I leave the hospital, I have something to tell you." "Speak." Huamin stared at Suyu in confusion. She felt that he was a little strange today. Suyu cleared his throat. He was obviously a little nervous because the women around him had always taken the initiative to come to him. Since he was young, he had never taken the initiative to make a move, so he was a little at a loss. "Big brother, if you don't say it, I'm leaving." Seeing Suyu hesitate, Huamin lost her patience. "Huamin, follow me from now on, okay? I'll be good to you." After Suyu said this, he immediately turned his face to the side, afraid to look into Huamin's eyes. Huamin's raised foot stopped in place. Was Suyu confessing to her? Chapter 259. It was probably Suyu's first time confessing to someone, so he was more reserved. He didn't say anything sappy like or love. He only said, "If you follow me from now on, I'll treat you well." How could Huamin not understand such simple and straightforward words? After a while, Huamin turned around and said, "Are you addicted to cheating?" "What?" Suyu furrowed his brows. "Don't you have a girlfriend? Now you're saying these things to me, isn't that cheating? In our country, monogamy is the norm. If you cheat, you'll be called a scumbag. For the sake of your image, please don't do this. Those aren't real girlfriends, they're just women at most. Suyu was very clear about this. All these years, including Zhao Qingya, his relationship with those women was all about money and sex. He was just trying to pass the time. None of them were sincere, they were all tricks. Therefore, Suyu didn't think that he was cheating. On the other hand, Huamin made it sound very serious. Oh, then maybe I'm out of date, but I have a boyfriend too. I don't want to be called a scumbag for cheating. Also, the most important thing is that I won't leave my boyfriend. Our relationship is very good and stable. Thank you for your love. I wish you good health and a happy career. With that, Huamin walked away. Good health? A happy career? What a weird woman. Did she have to be so different even when rejecting someone? Suyu's face completely darkened. His first confession in his life was like a bucket of cold water being poured over him. When he returned to his room, he was still depressed. He took out his phone and asked in a WeChat group that he had a good relationship with. I like a girl, but she has a boyfriend. What should I do? Force her. Love comes from sleeping with her, the first guy replied. Snatch her. No one in C City is your match, whether it's in terms of money or looks, the second guy replied. Give her boyfriend a sum of money and let her ask for it. Then you take advantage of the situation, the third guy replied. Just ask her what she wants and fulfill all her wishes. Then, sleeping with her won't be a problem, the fourth guy replied. Although what they said made sense, Suyu felt that it wouldn't work on Huamin. If he forced, it would damage his charisma. With his looks and family background, why would he need to force someone else? Wouldn't he be laughed at if he told others? It would be too blunt to take it by force. With Huamin's personality, if she couldn't get it, they would become enemies. Would there be a future? Give her boyfriend a sum of money? Although he didn't know what Huamin's boyfriend did for a living, he hadn't been able to find out anything about him. Just this fact alone told him that her boyfriend wasn't a simple man. He definitely had a powerful background. He had tried to fulfill any of her wishes before, and she even mocked him for being the genie. Therefore, in summary, none of these were valid. It was equivalent to asking for nothing. Su? Is there a beauty in C City? Su? Why is young Master Su so sad? One of his friends gossiped. As one of the four princes, Wei Liao had a good relationship with Suyu. When he saw Suyu's message in the group, he sent a laughing emoji. Then he said, men don't care about loyalty, they just don't have enough temptation. Women don't care about loyalty, they just don't have enough leverage to betray. If you have enough leverage, there's nothing you can't do. After Suyu read it, he thought about it and still felt depressed. After he was discharged from the hospital, it would probably be even harder to see Huamin. Huamin was going to go straight back to Imperial Park after work, but she received a call from Jixin. She immediately went to Jixin's school. Jixin was standing in front of a yellow sports car, looking at his sister with a heavy heart. Sis, is my car pretty? Where did you get it? Huamin frowned, seemingly unhappy. A few days ago, a company sponsored our school to design an eco-friendly electric car. My design won first place, and this is the sponsor's reward. Isn't that a good thing? Your expression doesn't look right. Huamin immediately saw through her brother's thoughts. Jixin lowered his head and thought about it. Then he said, Sis, I don't want to lie to you. The sponsor is GK Corporation. Upon hearing this, Huamin's expression changed slightly. Chapter 260. Sis, don't be mad, I really don't know what happened. I didn't know GK was the sponsor, I only found out today when I went to get the car. I didn't mean to, please don't tell Mom, okay? Jixin knew that GK was a knot between his sister and his mother. It was obvious that he was worried. Did you see him? Huamin asked tentatively. Qinchu? Yeah. No, when I went today, it was Qinchu's assistant who helped me get the car. To be honest, sis, my design wasn't that great. Everyone said that I was just lucky to win the award. I'm not a natural genius like you. No matter how hard I work, my grades are just average. So, I think that winning the award had something to do with you. Qinchu might still like you and want to use this opportunity to get closer to you. Huamin only sighed slightly when she heard this. She really wanted to tell Jixin that she was already with Qin Chu. However, she was afraid that Jixin would feel guilty if he heard this, so after some thought, she chose to remain silent. This car is from the Transformers series, right? Huamin looked at the sports car and asked. Jixin nodded vigorously. Yes, it's the Bumblebee. I love it so much. It's a Chevrolet Camaro, my favorite car in the Transformers series. I don't know how Qin Chu knows what I like. It's amazing. How much is this car? I think the market price is around 400,000, so I don't dare to take it. Why don't you help me return it to Qin Chu? Although Jing Jixin loved cars, he knew what he should and shouldn't take, especially since Qin Chu and his sister had a special relationship. Leave the car here for now, don't drive it yet. I'll think about what to do with it later. Okay. Sis, you've lost weight. Is it because you've been working too hard? Jing Jixin looked at Huamin, who had just finished her night shift, with heartache. She might not have noticed it herself, but she had dark circles under her eyes. Staying up late would indeed make people look haggard. I'm fine. Just take care of yourself. Have you had any headaches recently? No. What about the medicine? Are you still taking it? Still eating. There are only 2 types left. Yes, keep eating. It's good for your head recovery. Sis, why don't you move back here? Mom nagged me a few times, saying that it costs a lot to rent an apartment outside, so it's better for you to come home. I know she wants you to come back, not to save money. How nice it is for the 3 of us to live together. Let's talk about this later. I have to go back first. Call me if you need anything. Huamin didn't have time to stay at the school for long. He drove home. After cleaning up, she went to sleep again. She only woke up in a daze when she heard the door open at night. Did you arrange for Jixin's car to be delivered? She asked impatiently as soon as she walked in. Why didn't you tell me? I told you before. Qin Chu didn't think much of it. He did mention it before, but Huamin didn't agree at all. But I didn't agree. It's not a gift to you. Why does it matter if you agree or not? Huamin sighed slightly and sat down next to Qin Chu. It's not right. He's still a student. You can't spoil him too much. I'm not spoiling him too much. That's why I gave him such a cheap car. If I really spoiled him, I would have given him a Porsche. Huamin only said one word when she saw Qin Chu look up at her with a sharp gaze. She immediately changed her words. Honey, you'll spoil him too much. He's your brother, so he's my brother. There's nothing wrong with spoiling him. Huamian could understand Qin Chu's love for Huamian, and she knew that he loved Huamian. But you'll make him feel like he's reaping without sowing. Then let him reap without sowing. After he graduates, he won't have to work anymore. Let him do whatever he wants. You can't do that. He's a man. He has to be responsible. You should know better than me what kind of person your brother is. He's innocent and kind. He won't do anything bad just because he has an extra car. Don't overthink it. But Huamin wanted to say more, but Qin Chu interrupted her. I'm hungry. Honey, can you prepare dinner for me? Qin Chu looked at Huamin with wide eyes. Huamin finally gave in. Huamin got up and ran into the kitchen. Qin Chu smiled triumphantly. He knew how to change the subject as well. While they were eating, Huamin casually said, Jixin said today that he wants me to move back in with them. So this kid is biting the hand that feeds him? Qin Chu's face darkened. His brother-in-law, who just took his car, wanted to take his wife back to her parents' home. This brother-in-law was crazy, okay? Chapter 261. Of course not. Jixin doesn't even know that we're married. He thinks that I'm renting an apartment by myself and is quite worried about me. So, I think you should tell him when you have time. Otherwise, he might suddenly have other ideas in the future. Huamin smiled. He knew what Qin Chu was referring to, but about the car, I think it's better. About the car, you two can talk about it. If you think that he's too extravagant, you can switch cars with him. Huamin immediately shut his mouth. Driving a Volkswagen was already extravagant enough. Did he really want to switch to a yellow sports car? She would drown in the saliva of the nurses at Southside. They would definitely think that she switched cars because she had a sugar daddy. She didn't want to talk to Qin Chu about Jixin's car. The truth was, in Qin Chu's opinion, if it weren't for the fact that he didn't want Huamin to be unhappy, he really would have given Jing Jixin a Porsche. Otherwise, if people found out that he was Qin Chu's brother-in-law and drove a car that cost a few 100,000 yuan, wouldn't he feel embarrassed? Yes, he still had to slowly instill the idea of switching cars into Huamin's head. Next time, he would do some research and get his wife a new car. Otherwise, every time he saw Huamin's Volkswagen, he would feel like he was dancing in a show. After dinner, Huamin took a shower and went to bed. She had been staying up too much lately and didn't sleep well, so she had dark circles under her eyes. She walked to the counter in the bathroom, took out the eye cream that Qin Chu prepared for her, and rubbed it over and over again. Finally, she lay on the bed. Qin Chu was still working in the study. When Qin Chu finished, he was surprised to see that Huamin was still awake. He was watching a variety show on his phone. "You're still awake?" "Yeah, I slept too much during the day." "Your biological clock is upside down." Qin Chu felt a little bad. Then, he climbed onto the bed and naturally wrapped his arms around Huamin's shoulders. "You're done? Are you tired?" "I'm used to it. It's just work." "You haven't been home much recently. Won't your parents be unhappy?" Huamin asked carefully. "If I leave and you're alone at home, I'll be worried. I'll just go there for dinner once in a while," Qin Chu said as he gently stroked Huamin's hair. His movements were very gentle. "If we could turn back time 7 years ago, would you still choose to know me?" Huamin suddenly asked sadly. Qin Chu thought for a moment and replied seriously, "If we could turn back time 7 years ago, I would have gone to get the visa a week earlier. Then we would have gone to the United States together. That way, we wouldn't have missed the next 7 years." In Qin Chu's opinion, being separated from Huamin for 7 years was the biggest regret in his life. Huamin buried her head in Qin Chu's chest, an indescribable feeling in her heart. She felt sad and touched. "What about you? If we could turn back time, would you still want to be with me?" Qin Chu suddenly asked without confidence. He was a little worried about Huamin's answer. If they could turn back time and not be together, Huamin's stepfather wouldn't have died. Perhaps Huamin would still be a happy family of 4. Huamin tightened her arms around Qin Chu's waist. After a while, she said, "I don't regret anything that I've done in the past. Even though I know it's a tragedy, if we could turn back time, I would still be stubborn. I believe that it wasn't a coincidence that you were able to appear in front of me in the vast sea of people. This is fate, our destiny." After hearing this, Qin Chu didn't say anything. He just hugged Huamin tightly. In the middle of the night in early autumn, they hugged each other tightly like this, as if they were especially afraid of losing each other. Some things weren't scary if you couldn't get them. What was scary was losing them after you got them. Huamin suddenly realized that if one day she was forced to leave Qin Chu, her heart would be in so much pain that it would suffocate her, because she really wanted to have a man like this. She wanted to be by his side for the rest of her life. The next day, when Huamin went to work, a few nurses surrounded her with mysterious smiles on their faces. "What's wrong? You guys?" Huamin was puzzled. "Huamin, congratulations on your promotion. You have to treat us to a big meal when you get back," one of the nurses said with a smile. "Promotion?" Huamin was confused. Chapter 262. "Yeah, you don't know yet, right? We heard about it a long time ago. That's why I say you're not up to date." "I really didn't know." Huamin rarely paid attention to the hospital's gossip. He was only responsible for taking care of the patients in his own area, so it was understandable that he wasn't up to date. "You should be careful this time. Tingting will probably be pissed off. She applied for it a few times before but never got it. Now that you're suddenly promoted, she'll probably be pissed at you." "Yeah, Tingting and Nan Nan are different. Nan Nan only cares about money and wants to hook up with a rich husband. She doesn't plan on staying in the hospital for long. Tingting, on the other hand, is different. She cares more about power and wants to take the opportunity to climb up the ranks. You have to be careful." After speaking, the nurses giggled and left. The truth was, Huamin wasn't particularly close to them. He just lived nearby and would sometimes go over to help. The only ones who were really in the orthopedics department were Tingting, Nan Nan, and Xiaomit. After Xiaomei was injured, she was replaced by a nurse from another department. That nurse was called Wang Xiaoyan. She didn't talk much and didn't interact much with Huamin. Just as he was thinking, the head nurse, Wang Lin, suddenly walked over. Huamin, come with me. Inside the department, Huamin, I'm sure you already know about your promotion. The hospital will officially announce it at noon. Promotion? Huamin was still a little confused. Yes, from today onwards, you'll be the head nurse of the orthopedics department. What about you? Huamin was surprised. Wang Lin smiled. I've been transferred to the finance department as the director. That's great. Congratulations. Thank you. Wang Lin was obviously in a good mood. There are 2 reasons for your promotion. First, it's because the patients you're taking care of jointly recommended you to the hospital. This means that Uncle Lu in room 2 said a lot of good things about you. Young Master Su didn't say much, but he gave you an A on your evaluation form. It's obvious that he's very satisfied with you. Your performance in the past few days has been outstanding, so I gave you an A on your evaluation form as well. But most importantly, it was President Wu's recommendation that allowed me to get promoted so quickly. President Wu? That's right, Director Wu thinks highly of you. Now that you've been promoted, you have to work even harder as the head nurse. As for your salary, it's going to be 12,000 yuan a month, and you'll also get all sorts of other benefits. In short, do your best. Thank you, head nurse. Oh no, thank you, Director Song. Huamin smiled and scratched his head. Wang Lin's transfer should have been carried out a long time ago, but there was no one to take over. Now that Huamin was here, she was relieved. Otherwise, she would be worried about leaving it to these unreliable girls. Tingting might be a little emotional, so please bear with her when the time comes, Wang Lin reminded. I know. Very good, then go to work. Good luck. After walking out of the department, Huamin had mixed feelings. After saving Wu Xiaoxue last time, she hadn't seen President Wu. She didn't expect to be promoted so suddenly. Although it wasn't a particularly good position, for a 24-year-old girl like Huamin, it was still surprising that she could become the head nurse of a tertiary grade A hospital. At the on-call desk, Tingting was talking to the other nurses. When she saw Huamin, she immediately sneered. Congratulations on your promotion. Thank you. You're different from young Master Su. It's good to have someone to protect you. Tingting, what do you mean by that? Huamin smiled. Don't you know what I mean? Why are you pretending? Everyone in the hospital knows about your relationship with young Master Su. But Huamin, you're really something. There are so many beautiful girls in our hospital. You're really lucky that young Master Su likes you. So you're jealous of me right now? Huamin looked at Wang Tingting and asked. I'm really confused. Since you're with young Master Su, why don't you go live a good life? Why are you still at Southside? It's so hard for you to be the head nurse. You should really be the young lady of the Su family. After Wang Tingting said this, the young nurses smiled, but I like being the head nurse of Southside. I think this position suits me very well. Huamin stared into Wang Tingting's eyes and said, word for word. Chapter 263. You? Wang Tingting was obviously enraged. Tingting, people are all like this. If you respect me, I'll respect you. I know you're not happy about it, but I didn't do anything to get promoted. It was the hospital's decision. Isn't that because President Wu favors you? Everyone says that you had an affair with President Wu back at the first hospital. Wang Tingting was so angry that she didn't choose her words carefully. You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. You sound so convincing, but do you have any evidence? Plus, if I really had an affair with President Wu, do you think I would still be the head nurse? Maybe you're just trying to show off. I don't want to explain too much. Anyways, if we can get along well, then we're colleagues. If you can't stand me and think that saying nasty things every day makes you feel better, then you can continue. But, in the future, when you're on duty, don't ask me for help. I won't help you even once. I don't need your help either. Do you really think I'm Huatu? Fine, we'll see. Huamin understood people like Wang Tingting very well. Just like He-Man, she was the type with a dark heart. On the surface, she was nice to you, but she just couldn't stand you doing better. If you did better than her, then she wouldn't be happy. Therefore, there was no need to be afraid of people like her. There was no need to argue with them. It was best to just ignore them. Especially now that Wang Tingting was under Huamin. If she wanted to torture Wang Tingting, she had hundreds of ways to do so. But she didn't want to because she felt that it was too boring. If a person thought about scheming against others and taking revenge on others every day, then their life would be ruined. A person who lived in hatred and resentment would not have a future. Huamin wasn't that stupid. From the first day that Suyu was hospitalized, other than Huamin, no one else was allowed to enter his room. Gradually, Huamin became Suyu's personal nurse, even though she never really took care of him. But to Suyu, she was already a special existence. Routine ward rounds. How are you feeling today? Are you feeling unwell? No. Suyu didn't seem to be in a good mood. He kept playing with his phone. You must take your medicine on time and pay attention to your injured knee. You can't do any strenuous exercise for a while. Hearing this, Suyu looked up at Huamin and asked, So what do you mean by strenuous exercise? I don't quite understand. Can you make it clearer? Huamin understood what he was implying, and his cheeks burned. Don't run or jump, and don't race. It's very dangerous. If it recurs, it will be even more serious than this time. Really? Then, what if it was a physiological aspect? Can I just be a little more passive? Suyu asked mischievously, Sorry, this is not my job scope. You can ask experts in this field. After speaking, Huamin turned around and walked out. Suddenly, she thought of something and turned around to look at Suyu. Suyu, thank you for your A. After speaking, she opened the door and left. Suyu had a complicated expression on his face. He really should have picked D's on the evaluation form and given her a terrible review. However, he just couldn't bring himself to do it. In all fairness, Huamin was a very competent medical staff. If he gave her D's and gave her a bad review, it would mean that he was using his position to get even with her because she rejected him. That would make him seem ungentlemanly. Young master, Mrs. Hu sent someone over to help you pack your things. You'll be discharged tomorrow. Come in. Suyu didn't seem to be in the mood. After living here for so long, he suddenly didn't want to leave. He wasn't excited about returning to his luxurious nightlife, and he wasn't happy about being able to do whatever he wanted. All of this was because of a brat named Huamin. In the afternoon, Huamin was writing down the next month's duty schedule in the department. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Come in. When Huamin looked up and saw who it was, he froze and was very surprised. Why are you here? Chapter 264. Why can't I be here? Wu Xiaoxue was wearing a black dress and a red beret. Her belly was slightly swollen due to her pregnancy, and it was obvious that she was pregnant. Oh, what's up? Huamin didn't want to argue with Wu Xiaoxue because she had a lot of work to do. I just passed by a Hong Kong-style restaurant, so I brought you some afternoon tea. After speaking, Wu Xiaoxue placed the bags of food on the table. Huamin glanced at the bags. There was quite a lot of food, milk tea, desserts, and macarons. Wu Xiaoxue, did the sun rise from the west today? What are you doing? Huamin put down the pen in her hand. She was no longer in the mood to write. Know how to repay kindness, Wu Xiaoxue said simply. Huamin immediately understood what she meant. To be honest, she never thought that Wu Xiaoxue would be grateful. She thought that she would say that she was meddling in other people's business. No need, I would have saved anyone, Huamin said nonchalantly. Huamin, I really admire you. If it were me, I definitely wouldn't save a love rival, especially when I was against you in the past. That's why you're not me. Huamin smiled. Uncle is right, you're an amazing woman. I, Wu Xiaoxue, have never admired anyone in my life, but you really made me look at you in a different light. If it weren't for you, I know that the child wouldn't still be here. After speaking, Wu Xiaoxue subconsciously rubbed her belly. That's why you need to be careful when you drive in the future. You're pregnant. I will. Anyways, thank you. You're Ning Ziyuan's ex, and I will continue to hate you. But that's that. You saved me, and I'm not an ungrateful person. I owe you this time, and if I need you in the future, I will repay you. No need, I didn't want you to repay me when I saved you. I hate how arrogant you are, as if you're the savior of the world. As long as you save the world, you don't need the world to repay you. But I finally understand why you're so successful. Huamin didn't say anything because she suddenly didn't know what to say. I heard that you were promoted. Work hard. I hope that one day, I can compete with you in the operating room. Everyone says that you're good, but I'm not convinced. I'll wait for the day you become a doctor, and I'll work hard too. After speaking, Wuxiaoxia didn't wait for Huamin's and left. Looking at the tea on the table, Huamin's lunch, Wuxiaoxia was a person's, she's, but at least she could tell right from wrong. Knowing that she was the one who saved her life, perhaps that was enough. Ants was, to save this, this is plus, she was Ning Ziyuan's wife after all. No matter what happened in the past, she couldn't ignore 2 lives like a stranger. After another night's shift, 10 luxury cars arrived at Southside at dawn. They were all luxury sports cars like Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches. One of them was a limited edition Rolls-Royce Phantom. Apparently, it was Lady Su's car. Su Yu was being discharged from the hospital today. Everyone knew about it. The welcoming ceremony was very grand. Su Yu was almost fully recovered, so he walked out of the room without anyone's help. He walked very slowly because he really wanted to see Huamin send him off and say something to him. However, after looking around, he didn't see Huamin. Young master, Miss Hua went to a morning meeting. One of the bodyguards reminded him. Why are you talking so much? You don't want your job anymore? Su Yu scolded in annoyance. No. The bodyguard immediately shut up. It's about time. Everyone's waiting for you at the hotel. Let's go. Lady Su smiled gently. Before Su Yu left, he looked back reluctantly. Huamin still didn't come. Huamin didn't come downstairs until the car was far away. Head nurse, young Master Su was discharged, Nanan said. That's a good thing he's finally gone. Huh? Don't you feel a little sad? Nanan looked at Huamin in disbelief. Chapter 265. Why would I miss him? Huamin was confused by Nan's question. But everyone says that young Master Su is interested in you. Don't take it seriously. Su Yu has tons of girlfriends and superstars. He's only here to relieve his boredom. Don't make fun of him. Fine, I think so too. Young Master Su never lacks women. After he leaves, I don't think I'll have the chance to see him again. Nan's face was full of melancholy. Huamin smiled and didn't say anything else. Avoiding Su Yu was the best way for her to deal with the situation. Although Huaxiqin wasn't a good person, he was right. But his warning was right. It was best not to have anything to do with people like Su Yu. Entertainment headlines of the day: Su Yu, the boss of Imperial Star Entertainment, was discharged from the hospital. Luxury cars lined up to welcome him. The scene was like walking the red carpet at a film festival. Apparently, Zhao Qingya, Annie Liang, Li Sisi, Jian Tong, Wen Yonghui, and other A-list celebrities were all there. It was like a harem drama. In the end, Zhao Qingya was the only one who got to sit in the same car as Su Yu. It was obvious that her status was slightly higher. Midnight, Su Yu's private mansion was brightly lit and loud music was playing. Dozens of bikini-clad beauties danced by the pool. 4 or 5 men sat side by side on the chairs, admiring the night sky and the beauties. The atmosphere was very good. However, Su Yu didn't seem to be in the mood. He held a glass of red wine and occasionally took a sip. His other hand was scrolling through his phone. He seemed to be absent-minded. What's wrong? You're not yourself tonight. Huaxiqin walked over with a glass of wine. He pulled a chair and sat down across from Su Yu. Su Yu immediately pressed the return button and locked his phone. It's boring. I'm tired of this kind of life, day after day, Su Yu said nonchalantly. You've been in the sanatorium for long enough. Are you sick of it? It's all right, Su Yu answered vaguely. Huaxiqin took the initiative to ask, how was it? Did you get your hands on my little sister? Su Yu was obviously depressed. He licked his lips and said, your sister is probably gay. Oh, why do you say that? Huaxiqin laughed loudly. She probably doesn't like men. I'm too lazy to talk to her. Are you saying that you were rejected by Mian? Huaxiqin guessed. That's because she's deliberately playing hard to get with me. Don't all women like to play tricks like this? So, you still don't know her very well? Huasiqian smiled again. Su Yu immediately rolled his eyes at him. You speak as if you know her very well. Don't forget that she hasn't returned to the Hua family for many years. She even made a statement. Huasiqian's expression changed. He smiled bitterly. Yeah, she's such a stubborn person. No one can do anything to her. But don't worry, the difficulties are only temporary. None of the women I've set my eyes on can be sold. It's only a matter of time. Su Yu seemed to be full of confidence. He had money, looks, and power. He had everything that women in the world wanted. Huamin didn't believe that he wouldn't be moved. Upon hearing Su Yu's words, Huasiqian immediately stopped smiling and advised, I advise you to give up. But you don't think I can handle her either? Huasiqian shook his head. No, Min is not a woman you can touch. Fuck, what are you talking about? What do you mean I can't touch her? I don't believe that there's a woman in Sea City I can't touch. Su Yu was immediately infuriated. I'm not looking down on you, but Mion has someone else in her heart. She won't accept you. I know, she told me that she has a boyfriend, but so what? Even if Huamin is the mother of my child, I still want to have her. I just can't accept it. After speaking, Su Yu picked up his wine glass and downed it in one gulp. Huasiqian looked at him meaningfully and asked, You don't seem to know who she likes. Does it matter who it is? Su Yu sneered. Of course, when you find out who it is, you'll understand what I'm saying today. You make it sound so mysterious. Could it be you? Su Yu looked at Huasiqian meaningfully. Chapter 266. Of course not, Mion is my little sister. She's not your biological sister, Su Yu said. Huasiqian's eyes seemed to flash with something. You're thinking too much, Lord Su. I don't like Mion's type. Yeah, you've always liked 36D and above. Ha, you know me best? Then Huasiqian and Su Yu chatted and stopped talking about Huamin. However, they had also discovered something about each other. Huasiqian realized that Su Yu was really interested in Huamin, because when he came over, he glanced at Su Yu's phone and saw that it was a photo of Huamin. Although he quickly pressed the return button, he still saw it. Su Yu also realized that every time Huamin was mentioned, Huasiqian's expression was more or less uncomfortable, although he tried his best to hide his emotions. But who was Su Yu? He wasn't a stupid wastrel with a lot of money. He was someone who had been in the military for N years. He was an elite in the special forces, and his skills and intelligence were top-notch. With his sharp intuition, he felt that Huasiqian's feelings for Huamin weren't that simple. That wasn't how a sister should feel. Huamin's promotion was actually very low-key. Other than the people in the hospital, she only told Qin Chu. But when she casually mentioned it, Qin Chu immediately ordered a table of hot pot at Orange Jasmine. Orange Jasmine hot pot was famous for its spicy ingredients. Because the ingredients in the hot pot were fresh and spicy, it was very popular. Also, because it was a high-end restaurant, even the beef was top-notch beef raised on a farm. So, it was said that a single hot pot meal cost tens of thousands of yuan. Qin Chu not only ordered hot pot, but also volunteered to make an appointment with Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling for her. Thus, when the four of them gathered for dinner again, the atmosphere changed again. A new car. Looks like a new man. What does it have to do with you? Zhu Lingling glared at Gao Ran. I'm just wondering, which man is so blind to look for you? There are many blind men out there. No matter how bad I am, I'm still better than you. You're still single at this age. You deserve to be unlucky. Who are you calling a bachelor? Let me tell you, there are a lot of people chasing after me. There are baskets of policewomen in our unit alone. Do you understand? Baskets after baskets of potatoes, right? Are you sure it's a woman? Zhu Lingling refuted. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling, this pair of sworn enemies, would fight whenever they met. It was as if they were born to be natural enemies. Huamin watched the drama unfold from the side and was extremely happy. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was calmly eating hot pot and even putting meat into his beloved wife's bowl. Hey, can you two stop being so lovey-dovey? Are you trying to kill us single dogs? Gao Ran yelled in dissatisfaction. Hey, it's not us, it's you. I'm not single, Zhu Lingling emphasized. You'll be single very soon. How dare you curse me? If I really break up this time, I'm going to. If you break up, you'll be dating Gao Ran. You two are a good match, Huamin suggested while eating hot pot. Fine, fine, fine. Please forgive me, don't harm me. My eyesight is very good, I'm not blind. It's okay, you'll go blind sooner or later. Huamin laughed. Qin Chu, can you control your wife? It's broad daylight, how can you curse a good cop like this? Gao Ran looked at Qin Chu for help. My wife's words make sense? Damn, you're a total wife con now. You're hopeless, you've been poisoned too deeply. That's why a poor single dog like you can't experience the feeling of being in love. Zhu Lingling laughed. You guys eat bye. After speaking, Gao Ran pretended to get up and leave. Pay the bill when you go downstairs, Qin Chu said slowly. Damn, you're so heartless. GK's big boss is asking a little cop like me to pay the bill. How can you do that? Not all cops can drive a Jaguar, so, you're still a capable cop. Huamin laughed hysterically. You ingrate, I took the day off to celebrate your promotion, and you two treat me like this? The boat of friendship really capsizes. Gao Ran's words made Zhu Lingling and Huamin laugh uncontrollably. Stop flipping, this meal is on me. Huamin immediately raised his hand and offered to pay the bill. Hey Mian, I saw on the news today that Su Yu was discharged from the hospital, right? Zhu Lingling suddenly gossiped. Chapter 267. Huamin nodded. Yeah, he was discharged. I saw a lot of people there were tons of female celebrities there. Yeah, there were a few that I didn't recognize. There were a lot of onlookers and a lot of reporters. But I saw a tabloid article that said that while Su Yu was hospitalized at Southside, he had an ambiguous relationship with a nurse. Do you know her? Hurry up and tell us what happened. What's so interesting about entertainment news? It's just a rich guy hitting on girls. Boring, Gao Ran interjected as he ate a big mouthful of beef. You guys don't understand women's topics. Zhu Lingling immediately grabbed Huamin's hand and asked, hurry up and tell me. Huamin glanced at Qin Chu a little guiltily and replied, actually, I'm not too sure either. Su Yu always has bodyguards around him, so he doesn't easily interact with others. His privacy is very well protected. Oh, that's true. If someone like Su Yu were to create a scandal, the media wouldn't dare to report it. After Zhu Lingling finished talking to herself, she finally changed the topic. During dinner, Zhu Lingling picked up her phone and took a photo. Huamin, Qin Chu, and Gao Ran were all in the photo. Then she sent the photo to her classmate group. The group immediately blew up. Zhu Lingling, is the photo real? Is that Huamin beside Qin Chu? Where are you guys eating? The hot pot looks pretty good. Zhu Lingling immediately rolled her eyes and scolded, these idiots, don't they know what's important? Not long after, Lu Xing joined in and asked, is this orange jasmine? Lu Xing was indeed an expert. She could tell that it was orange jasmine just by taking a photo of the hot pot. She had to admit that she was pretty good. Yeah, what? Do you want to come? Zhu Lingling asked provocatively. You think I don't dare? Lu Xing replied. I'll wait for you. In less than 15 minutes, you'll be a coward. In fact, Zhu Lingling had always wanted to teach Lu Xing a lesson. He never had the chance before, but now that he finally had the chance, how could he let it go? Huamin and Qin Chu had left the group, so they didn't know what they were talking about. About 10 minutes later, Lu Xing pushed open the door and walked in. Huamin was dumbfounded. Not bad. You're on time, Zhu Lingling looked at Lu Xing and said. Lu Xing didn't say anything. She first glanced at Qin Chu, then walked over and found an empty seat to sit down. This is? Gao Ran looked at the woman who suddenly appeared in front of him in confusion. Huamin didn't say anything either. He was a little confused. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was expressionless. She's one of our high school classmates. I asked her to come. I didn't think she would actually come, Zhu Lingling explained. Qin Chu, have you been busy lately? Lu Xing looked around, and her gaze finally stopped on Qin Chu's handsome face. Qin Chu didn't seem like he was going to answer. He picked up a shrimp with his chopsticks and carefully placed it in Huamin's bowl. Zhu Lingling smiled proudly. Today, we're here to celebrate Huamin's promotions. But yeah, you got promoted? Congratulations. Lu Xing glanced at Huamin and said unhappily, thank you. Qin Chu, my dad said that our companies have been working together, and Uncle Qin personally suggested it. It must be a good project. My dad said that you're amazing, and that GK is doing even better than before. Lu Xing looked at Qin Chu with admiration. Qin Chu picked up a napkin and elegantly wiped the corner of his mouth. Then, he replied, I haven't heard of any collaboration with your father's company. If it was my dad's decision, then it's his personal decision. The board of directors would never approve it. Lu Xing's expression turned ugly upon hearing this. Qin Chu still didn't give her any face. Chu, what's going on? Is she your fan? Gao Ran asked recklessly, as if he had figured out something. Qin Chu immediately shot him a murderous look. I do like Qin Chu. In fact, I've liked him for many years, Lu Xing suddenly said straightforwardly. Chapter 268. Huamin looked at her in surprise, unsure of what she was trying to do. Gao Ran was also confused. You have to pick the right time to confess, and you obviously picked the wrong time. Plus, you already know that Qin Chu likes Huamin, yet you still want to get involved. You must be crazy, Zhu Lingling mocked. There's nothing wrong with loving someone, why can't I say it? Huamin felt a little awkward, so she glanced at Qin Chu. Are you full? Qin Chu asked gently. Huamin nodded. Qin Chu picked up a tissue and gently wiped Huamin's mouth in front of everyone. Then he held her hand and said, let's go. Qin Chu pulled Huamin away, obviously not welcoming the uninvited guest, Lu Xing. Zhu Lingling looked at Lu Xing triumphantly. I'm sorry, I didn't even treat you to a bite. It's almost time, come earlier next time. Lu Xing was so angry that her face turned pale. Gao Ran looked at Lu Xing sympathetically, and then followed her downstairs. After they got home, Huamin sent Zhu Lingling a WeChat message to ask about the situation. Then, she felt sorry for Lu Xing as if she was played by them. Lingling, don't do that again. So what? Lu Xing, that scheming bitch, used to talk about how close she was to Qin Chu in the group chat. The truth is, Qin Chu doesn't even care about her, it's just her own wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is her own business, but she's right, there's nothing wrong with liking someone. We don't have the right to laugh at her, nor do we have the power. Huamin felt a little uncomfortable about teasing Lu Xing tonight, but she knew that Lingling was just helping her out. Got it, big sis? Be good, I'll treat you to good food another day. Go to bed early. After sending a WeChat message to Lingling, Huamin saw Qin Chu watching TV on the sofa. There was no expression on his face. She didn't know if he was angry. Lingling was indeed too much. Therefore, she walked over with small steps and sat down beside Qin Chu. Do you want some fruit? No. Do you want some water? Do you want supper? Mian, we just ate? Qin Chu looked at Huamin helplessly. You're not angry, are you? What are you angry about? Just now. Lingling called Lu. What does that have to do with me? Qin Chu said casually. Then, what do you think about Lu Xing's confession? Huamin asked tentatively. Actually, this was what she really wanted to ask. Someone confessed to her husband right in front of her. Needless to say, she didn't feel good about it. What do you want me to think? Qin Chu smiled and looked at Huamin. How would I know what you think? Oh, Lu Xing is a good person. She's pretty. Is she? Why do I think she's just average looking? Huamin wasn't convinced. I think she's pretty. Really? Compared to me? As expected, when Huamin was childish, his IQ instantly dropped to 0. Qin Chu held back his laughter and replied, compared to you? About the same. We both have our own merits. Really? If that's the case, you should get married to her. It's unfair for you to be with me. After speaking, Huamin angrily turned around and was about to leave. However, Qin Chu hugged her tightly from behind. Let go of me. You're angry already? Qin Chu looked at Huamin, whose face was red with anger, in amusement. I'm not angry, I'm very generous. I'll let you guys be together. Really? Qin Chu asked on purpose. Of course, let go of me. Hurry up and go hug Lu Xing. Huamin desperately struggled to break free. In the end, she couldn't break free from Qin Chu's embrace. He just hugged her and whispered into her ear, "Mian, you look very cute when you're jealous." "Cute my ass." Qin Chu chuckled, "You're still laughing? I'm so angry." Qin Chu lowered his head and bit Huamin's ear. He didn't use much strength, but it was very teasing. "Qin?" "What?" Qin Chu deliberately threatened. "Honey, don't be like this, it's really itchy." Huamin was extremely nervous. However, Qin Chu didn't have any intention of letting her go. This was the first time she saw Huamin jealous, and it was because of a woman who had nothing to do with him. She knew that Qin Chu would never fall for Lu Xing, but when she heard him say that Lu Xing was pretty, she couldn't stay calm. Therefore, no matter how smart a woman was, when she met a man she cared about, all her intelligence and wisdom would turn to zero. She would only be left with silly cuteness. Huamin felt his heavy breaths coming from behind her ear, making her unbearably hot. Chapter 269. Huamin was a rather conservative person. She only had a comprehensive understanding of the relationship between men and women from books. As a medical professional, she could only objectively analyze from a physiological point of view. However, she lacked clinical experience. Other than that one drunken impulse 7 years ago, she had no other experience. Therefore, when Qin Chu teased her, Huamin's entire body tensed up. She was very nervous. Qin Chu hugged Huamin from behind with both hands and moved up and down restlessly. His cool lips blew warm breaths on her neck, and then he gently kissed her. He was very slow and very patient. However, Huamin felt that it was very dangerous. Huamin finally couldn't hold it in anymore. She turned around and was about to say, "Honey," her lips were bitten by Qin Chu, and then it was an extremely lingering French kiss. He kissed Huamin until she was dizzy and her entire mind was in a daze, although she kept warning herself not to fall into his hands. However, her body's instincts told her that she couldn't resist at all. She was already at the edge, under the bright lights. He looked at Huamin's face that was flushed red from shyness, her eyes that were tightly shut due to nervousness, and her slightly curled eyelashes. Qin Chu's eyes were filled with gentleness. He had always been a cold person, but he was extremely gentle towards Huamin. He had always been a proud person, but he was a warm man towards Huamin. He had always been a fickle person, but he was completely infatuated with Huamin. He had always been a man of few words, but he was only talkative towards Huamin. Huamin just kept her eyes tightly shut. Then she felt a pair of warm hands gently caressing her collarbone, and all the way down, she was so nervous that her cheeks were about to bleed. However, even so, she still didn't have the courage to push Qin Chu away. This was because the man in front of her was the only man she loved deeply in her entire life. Suddenly, there was no movement. Qin Chu didn't make any further moves. The air became abnormally quiet. Huamin curiously opened her eyes. She saw that Qin Chu was looking at her, not moving at all. She opened her mouth, but she didn't know what to say. "What are you waiting for with your eyes closed?" Qin Chu's lips curled upwards, and he chuckled. Huamin immediately came back to her senses. She closed her collar, and her face darkened as she said, "Qin Chu? What a joke." Huamin's face, Huamin's eyes, Hun, of course. "I was thinking that the hot pot we ate at just now was really spicy. Why are you blushing?" "Huamin of mean?" Qin Chu, Huamian's, Qin, of mean, and Qin Chu's eyes were full of smiles. This was his first time flirting with this girl. She was really cute when she looked like that. Originally, Qin Chu really wanted to take the opportunity to eat her up, but he felt that the atmosphere wasn't good enough. He was no longer in a hurry. He had already seen that Huamin cared about him. Therefore, he had to wait for the right atmosphere to create a scene for the two of them to make love again 7 years later. He had to create a scene that Huamin would never forget. So, just now, he was really just teasing Huamin. He thought of it as revenge on her for always rejecting him. When he saw Huamin's shy expression and awkward response, he felt really good. After Huamin straightened her clothes, she immediately sat back down on the sofa, turned on the TV, and watched Bonnie Bears. She pretended as if nothing had happened. "Just now, were you looking forward to something?" "No." But you looked a little disappointed. Was it because you weren't satisfied? Qin Chu, you bastard. Do you not want to sleep in my bed tonight? Honey, I was wrong. Why don't we continue what we were doing just now? Qin Chu reached out and put his arm around Huamin's shoulder. However, she immediately turned around and carried him behind her. Hey, honey, calm down. I was just teasing you. Qin Chu, aren't you afraid that you won't have any friends? Huamin never thought that one day she would be teased by Qin Chu. She really thought that something was going to happen. In the end, not only did it not happen, but Qin Chu even saw right through her. Where was the justice? Huamin and Qin Chu were flirting in a mansion, while young Master Su was drinking alone in a nightclub. Hey, why is young Master Su so depressed after he was discharged from the hospital? A rich kid next to him asked quietly. Chapter 270. Yeah, did you notice it too? Yeah, it's too obvious. We used to get high when we were drinking, but recently, young Master Su seems to have a lot on his mind. Yeah, we noticed it too, but no one dared to ask. Yeah, let's not get scolded. Our ancestor is in a bad mood, so we should all be careful. The young masters whispered to each other. Su Yu was dressed in a white casual outfit, and he was very eye-catching in the nightclub. He leaned against the sofa with a glass of red wine in his hand. He rested his head on the back of the sofa and stared at the ceiling, deep in thought. The socialites and models didn't dare to approach him. They could tell that he was in a bad mood, so it was best not to provoke him. Hui Yanyan rarely had the chance to come, but she and Su Yu weren't in the same circle. She was able to squeeze in because she had spent a lot of money to buy a limited edition Hermes bag for a female model in the circle. That was why the model agreed to bring her here. Xiao, young Master Su seems to be in a bad mood today, Hui Yanyan whispered to the model who brought her here. Yeah, everyone says that young Master Su hasn't been himself lately, so no one dares to hit on him. I heard that even Zhao Qingya hasn't dared to come to him these days. Really? I see. Hui Yanyan obviously knew about Zhao Qingya and Su Yu, but she didn't care. Well, don't tell me you want to hit on young Master Su? I advise you not to. Why not? Young Master Su is so outstanding, isn't it normal for me to like him? Hui Yanyan smiled. Xiao Yu shook her head. Young Master Su has a bad temper, and women like us can't handle him. I advise you to change your target. Young Master Tang isn't bad either, he's rich and gentle, why don't you give it a try? Are you talking about Tang Chuan? I don't like guys like him, he's wearing eyeliner and pretending to be Korean. I can't stand it. Hui Yanyan looked at a young man not far away in disdain. Anyways, I've already said what I wanted to say, you're on your own. Xiao Yu and Hui Yanyan weren't actually close, but Hui Yanyan introduced her to her friend. Since Hui Yanyan gave her a bag, Xiao Yu recommended her to come here. Hui Xiqian and Su Yu were nice, but Hui Yanyan had no intention of begging Hui Xiqian. The Hui family's internal strife. Hui Xiaoyu know what? Xiao Yu and Xiao Yu do what? She had persuaded Hui Yanyan. As for what to do, it was her own business. Xiao Yu no. Xiao Yu Hui Yanyan gritted her teeth, got up, and walked over to Su Yu with a glass of wine in her hand. She purposely chose a new dress from Gucci. It was a navy blue dress with a blue hemline and a blue and red ribbon at the collar. It was elegant and beautiful, definitely not Hui Yanyan's style. However, she heard that young Master Su liked fresh clothes, so she decided to dress up as a Korean girl. Who knew, maybe Su Yu would take a fancy to her. Hello, young Master Su. I'm Hui Yanyan. It's our first time meeting, nice to meet you. Hui Yanyan smiled sweetly. Her long hair fell to her waist, and she had a good figure. She thought that even if she didn't make Su Yu fall for her, she would still leave a good impression on him. Su Yu slowly opened his eyes and lazily glanced at the woman in front of him. What? In his days, he only heard the woman say that her last name was Hua, but he didn't care what her last name was. He was more interested in the fact that she said her last name was Hua. He seemed to be more sensitive to this last name. Chapter 271. Hui Yanyan thought that Su Yu was interested in her, so she immediately beamed with joy. Young Master Su, my name is Hui Yanyan. Yen is a female character with the word open. Open? That's a pretty slutty name. After Suyu said this, the people around them couldn't help but laugh. Hui Yanyan suddenly felt very awkward. Young Master Su, I've heard of your name for a long time. Today is an honor, so let me toast to you. After speaking, Hui Yanyan downed the glass of red wine in one gulp. She was quite generous. Unfortunately, Suyu didn't bite. He put down the wine glass in his hand on the coffee table, with no intention of drinking at all. Hui Yanyan's expression turned slightly ugly. She didn't think that Suyu would be so heartless. However, Hui Yanyan gritted her teeth and still hoped that she could make a breakthrough. Therefore, she picked up the glass of wine on Suyu's table and said, Young Master Su doesn't seem to be in a good mood today, so of course he's not in the mood to drink. I think I can hold my liquor well so I can finish it for you. After speaking, Hui Yanyan picked up Suyu's glass and volunteered to finish it for him. At this moment, Jewel's expression completely changed. Hui Yanyan, this woman really doesn't know how to get herself into trouble. Suyu was famous for being a clean freak, and the entire industry knew about it. Hui Yanyan definitely knew, but she still did it. There was only one possibility, and that was that she did the opposite to attract Suyu's interest. It was just like how Zhao Qingya stopped Suyu's sports car in the middle of the night and almost lost her life because of the tires. As expected, when he saw Hui Yanyan finish his glass, Suyu reached out and picked up the empty glass. He slowly stood up, everyone looked over and held their breaths. Hui Yanyan thought that Suyu was finally going to say something to her. With a cracking sound, the glass was smashed to pieces, scaring the others. Young Master Su. Everyone stood up. It's so dirty. Suyu looked at the glass, not sure if he was talking about Hui Yanyan or the glass. Young Master Su, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Hui Yanyan pretended to be innocent. Before she could finish speaking, Suyu looked at her and said, In the entire Hua family, you have the worst genes. After speaking, Suyu walked away, and the group of young masters behind him also stood up. Hui Yanyan was left standing there in a daze. After leaving the nightclub, Suyu got into his black Lamborghini Sixth Element. Then he sped away. As he sped through the night, his mood became even worse. Hui Yanyan was so stupid, but she was allowed to live in the Hua family. Hua Min was such a good person, but she had to lead a wandering life. Was that fucking old man Hua blind? As he thought about this, his mood became worse and worse. He suddenly stopped the car under a big tree on the side of the road. Suyu took out his phone and dialed a number. Starting tomorrow, stop all business deals with the Hua Corporation. The next morning, Hua Xiqian arrived at the company to hear that the Su Corporation was withdrawing their investment and would never work with them again. He immediately called Suyu. Young Master Su, did I do something wrong? Why are you not working with us? Hua Xiqian asked with a smile. I don't like the Hua family, Suyu replied stubbornly. Hua Xiqian sighed. Fine, when you're happy, don't forget to continue working with us, haha. Suyu didn't say anything else and directly hung up on Hua Xiqian. In this city, because he was Suyu, he didn't have to give face to anyone. He was just that stubborn. After Hua Xiqian hung up, he immediately investigated and found out that the idiot Hui Yanyan actually went looking for Suyu last night. Apparently, she even made a fool of herself. After the executive meeting, Hua Xiqian saw board member Xinjiani in the hallway. Tell your precious daughter to stop trying to get close to Suyu. Pa, you don't have the right to care about this, do you? Our Yan can be friends with whoever she wants. Xinjiani chuckled. If she wants to die young, then let her continue. But don't drag the company down with you, or else I won't forgive her. After saying this, Hua Xiqian adjusted his tie, turned around, and left. Xinjiani's expression changed when she heard this direct threat. Was this an official declaration of war? Chapter 272. Ever since she became the head nurse at Southside, she became busier and busier. Many other departments would even ask her for help. Everyone heard that she was skilled in medicine and serious at work, so Hua Min had less and less time to spend alone. Qin Chu protested a few times, but she got away with it. Finally, she had a weekend off and wanted to spend time with Qin Chu. However, she found out that Mr. Qin was working overtime today. When she was cleaning up in the morning, she saw on TV that GK's Warm West Hotel was cutting the ribbon today. Apparently, many people were there to watch. It was an unprecedented event, and the scene was comparable to a movie release. Therefore, Huamin had an idea and thought that she could give Mr. Qin a surprise. She took out a black Nike sportswear from her closet and put on a white baseball cap. She instantly returned to her school days. Then she took out a white mask, put on some makeup, and went to the ribbon-cutting ceremony. She squeezed into the crowd and wanted to take a few pictures of Qin Chu with her phone, but she found that it was not that easy. There were too many people around her, and many girls were screaming and calling Mr. Qin hubby. She was speechless. After the final cut, Huamin saw Qin Chu enter the hotel lobby behind him, so she quietly followed him in. When Qin Chu was about to enter the lounge with his assistant, Huamin pushed the people in front of her aside. She suddenly rushed over and grabbed Qin Chu's hand. "President Qin, can we take a picture together?" Qin Chu was slightly surprised when he heard her voice. At this moment, 4 or 5 bodyguards in black came out of nowhere and immediately grabbed Huamin. Then, they dragged her out as if they were going to throw her out. Her hands were tied, and she couldn't take off her mask. She was going crazy. At this critical moment, Qin Chu suddenly yelled, "Let her go, President Qin, she might be a crazy fan." "She's very dangerous," Assistant Yang reminded him. "Let her go, let her in." After saying that, Qin Chu pushed the door open and walked into the lounge. Huamin was stunned. Why would Qin Chu suddenly do this? Did he recognize her? Impossible. She was already wrapped up like Xiong air. This didn't make sense. "Let her go. Hurry up. Didn't you hear me?" Assistant Yang shouted. The bodyguards released Huamin, and under everyone's gaze, she walked towards Qin Chu's lounge. The journey was extremely difficult. In order to avoid being recognized, she deliberately pulled down the brim of her hat and raised her mask. When she opened the door and entered, before she could even get a clear look at the situation, she was picked up by the waist. She had screamed out loud, "Let me go. You're so naughty. How should I punish you?" Qin Chu lowered his head and tore off her mask with his mouth. Below was Huamin's extremely delicate and pretty face. Hearing the scream outside, the bodyguards couldn't stay calm anymore. Their faces were full of expressions. Assistant Yang was also speechless. Was the president's taste this weird? How could he molest a female fan in the lounge? Moreover, he didn't even know her and she was wearing a mask? Wasn't this a bit too exciting? "Honey, can you put me down first?" Huamin was embarrassed by his hug and immediately said with a red face, "Did you know that you were almost thrown out by my bodyguards?" "I know." "Then why did you do it?" Huamin was so self-righteous even when she made a mistake. He was speechless. "I wanted to give you a surprise. Do you think it's easy for me?" Chapter 273. I'm not surprised, but I'm scared. Do you know how bad I'd feel if anything happened to you? Qin Chu's heart ached. If he didn't recognize her voice, she would have been thrown out by the bodyguards. If anything happened to her, wouldn't it be the same as digging out his heart? Did this woman know about this? "I'll be fine." Huamin felt a little guilty as she stole glances at Qin Chu. The best way to deal with Huamin's twisted logic was to force a kiss. As expected, Qin Chu threw her onto the sofa, pressed her down, and kissed her passionately. He only let her go when she had no more energy left in her. Just then, someone knocked on the door. "Sir, there's a press conference in a bit. Please control yourself." "Control?" Qin Chu's face darkened. Assistant Yang was itching for a beating. Qin Chu opened the door unhappily and looked at Assistant Yang. "Postpone it for an hour, Sir? Say one more word and you'll pack up and go home." Then he slammed the door shut. Assistant Yang felt wronged and forced back the words he wanted to ask. "Mr. Qin, don't you think you're being a little too willful?" Huamin asked, sweating. "So now it's your turn to kiss me, or should I continue kissing you?" Huamin felt like he was a lamb in a tiger's den today. Was there a CEO like this? He didn't even do business and was flirting with girls in the lounge. Oh my God, how did someone like this get to the top of the top 10 list? 40 minutes later, Huamin put on a mask and ran out. Although she walked quickly with her head down, She still felt a few bodyguards and assistant Yang looking at her strangely. They probably thought she was just a female fan who came to show up. A minute later, Qin Chu walked out with a light layer of lipstick on his lips. "Sir, here you go." Assistant Yang almost made a mistake, so he immediately handed Qin Chu a tissue and flattered him. Qin Chu proudly took it and elegantly wiped the corners of his mouth. Actually, he couldn't bear to wipe off his wife's mark, but he had no choice. He had to hold a press conference later. Huamin's sudden appearance had indeed brought him a pleasant surprise. He really wanted her to stay for dinner. But it was really inconvenient, because it was the cutting ceremony, and there were too many news media. Huamin had always been unwilling to publicize their relationship, and he didn't want to force her. Imperial Star Entertainment headquarters piles of documents were piled up on the desk. Su Yu was playing with a pen in his hand. He was not in the mood to deal with work at all. "Director Su, these people are the information of the newcomers that the company signed this year. September Encounter is about to start filming, and the producer wants you to choose a newcomer to be the second female lead." Su Yu's assistant was a woman in her 40s. Her eyes were sharp, and she was known for being a workaholic. Her work was swift and decisive. It was said that Su Yu had spent a lot of money to poach her from S-City. She was a female doctor who had returned from overseas. "Lisa, it's up to you." Director Su, September Encounter is the idol drama that our company is promoting this year. It involves a lot of commercial interests, so it's best that you make the decision yourself. If you don't want to look at them one by one, how about I send the information to your email? "No need, recommend a few and I'll pick one," Su Yu said absent-mindedly. In the end, Lisa opened the information in her hand and said, "I've carefully selected them. There are a total of 68 newcomers, and only 3 stand out. One is called Qing Xiaomin. Her name is too old-fashioned, so I've changed her stage name to Qing Shirua. The second one is called Wang Shuang. She looks very pure and is more suitable for school dramas. She can be made into a goddess of the new generation of otakus. The third one is very pretty and well-behaved. It's just that she has the face of an internet celebrity, so there's nothing special about her. I think she must have had plastic surgery. She even changed her stage name to Mian Mian. Her fans call her Mian Mian." "Mian Mian?" Su Yu's interest was finally piqued. "Yeah, that's a pretty old-fashioned name." "Who said that?" "I think it's a pretty good name. She'll be the one." Su Yu made a quick decision. "Director Su?" Lisa wanted to say something, but she saw that Su Yu had lowered his head and was playing with his phone again. Just like that, the girl named Mian Mian was hit in the head by the goddess of luck. She probably didn't know that her selection had nothing to do with her beauty or figure. Even Su Yu didn't know what she looked like. She was selected just because there was a Mian in her name. That night, at the company's celebratory party, a sweet-looking girl walked over. "Hello, Director Su, I'm Mian Mian. Thank you for giving me this precious opportunity. I will continue to work hard and not let you down." Su Yu immediately turned around when he heard the name Mian Mian. Chapter 274. After getting a good look at the woman's face, Su Yu's eyes were filled with disappointments. It was undeniable that this was an exquisite and beautiful face. She was still young, but it wasn't a face that could move his heart. The girl probably had too much plastic surgery, so her smile was a little stiff. Up close, it affected her beauty. "President Su, I'd like to propose a toast to you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity." Su Yu's expression turned cold. "No need." Then he turned around and ignored the girl named Mian Mian. He didn't say a single word to her the entire night. Mian Mian felt wronged. She took the opportunity to go to the bathroom and secretly asked Lisa, "Sister Lisa, didn't President Su personally pick me to be the second female lead? Why does it seem like he doesn't like me?" Mian Mian thought that Su Yu liked her because of her beauty and wanted to take her away that night. She was willing to sleep with him. She knew that if she could sleep with Su Yu, she would have a meteoric rise in her life. All of the women that Su Yu had slept with in the past had all become successful. "I'm not sure either." Lisa didn't know why Su Yu chose Mian Mian either. She thought that President Su would choose the youthful and beautiful Wang Shuang. At least that girl didn't have plastic surgery. However, she didn't think that President Su would have such vulgar tastes. How could she have known that this girl was riding on someone's coattails just because her name was Mian? When it was time to leave that night, Mian didn't give up and went up to help Su up. "President Su, let me help you." Her voice was soft and soft. "Go away, don't touch me." He flung Mian away, almost causing her to fall to the ground. Yu's temper was well known in the industry. He never treated women gently and was often very rude to them. Of course, he didn't beat them up violently, but he was very rude to them. Only one person was an exception. "It seems like President Su doesn't plan on sleeping with you. Don't think too much about it. Go back and focus on filming," Lisa reminded Mian after she understood what was going on. "Yes, Sister Lisa." Mian left in a strapless evening gown with tears in her eyes. Yu got into the black Lamborghini with a cold expression. "President Su, should I call the chauffeur to send you home?" Lisa asked with concern. "No need." With that, he stepped on the accelerator and sped away. Inside the private villa. Still not sleepy, he took a bottle of Lafite from the wine cabinet and poured himself a drink. The phone was placed on the coffee table. At a glance, he could see that on the silver-gray 6S screen was a girl wearing black-rimmed glasses and a white coat. Her eyes were a little silly and cute, and her appearance was delicate and pretty. After drinking a glass of wine, Yu became even more depressed. He stretched out his finger and stroked the photo on the phone screen. He laughed self-deprecatingly. "What the hell? I actually wanted to see you so much." He didn't have Huamin's WeChat, but he had her phone number. However, he didn't want to call her because he knew that Huamin had a boyfriend. If he called her at this hour, it would probably cause a couple to fight. Although Yu really wanted to compete, he wanted to do it openly. He didn't want to do something so despicable to ruin things. The more he thought about it, the more annoyed he became. Thus, he decided to call his good buddy, Wei Liao. Wei Liao was still half asleep. He looked at the time on his phone and cursed, "Lord Su, what time is it? Why aren't you sleeping?" "I can't sleep." "If you can't sleep, then go find a girl and have sex," Wei Liao said without hesitation. "Fuck you, I'll give you 10 minutes to come to my place." "I'm not interested in men." Wei Liao laughed. "Don't worry, with your pretty face, you're not my type." Wei Liao hung up the phone and drove to Yu's villa in less than 8 minutes. As expected, other than drinking with him, Yu wouldn't do anything else. "Are you in a bad mood?" Wei Liao put one hand in his pocket and smiled evilly. "Yeah. You've been like this lately. Which girl is so powerful that she can make you lose your mind? I really want to meet her." Wei Liao could roughly guess what was going on with Yu. After all, Yu had never lacked money, and he hadn't heard of anything happening to the Su family recently. The only thing that was troubling him was that he had his eyes on a girl, but he couldn't get her because Yu had complained about him in the WeChat group. At the mention of this, Yu became even more depressed. He sighed and drank another glass. Wei Liao smiled and walked over. He picked up Yu's empty glass and looked at it. "Lord Su, this isn't like you." Chapter 275. What's my style? Yu raised his head. Swift and decisive. "If you like someone, just do it. As far as I know, I've known you for more than 20 years and you've never chased a girl for more than an hour. Because in front of your status, those girls can't even be reserved." Wei Liao was right. Back then, there was a small celebrity who wanted to play hard to get. Yu liked her, but she wanted to reject him. In the end, Yu slept with that female celebrity's junior that night. The next day, that female celebrity became the female lead of a blockbuster and turned her life around. By the time that small celebrity regretted it and came to Yu had already forgotten who she was. Later, everyone in the industry knew that young master Su didn't like rejection. If he was interested in you, you just had to come over and undress. Because if you acted a little pretentious, this opportunity would be gone and you might never see Yu again. "She's different from them," Yu said seriously. "What's different? Aren't they all women? Just throw money at them." "If it's that easy, why would I need you to teach me?" Suyu was angry. That's right. With your intelligence, you can get a woman in minutes. But if you fail, it can only mean 3 things. Wei Liao also analyzed seriously. Suyu was stunned. What 3 things? Wei Liao raised his index finger. First, it proves that she doesn't love you. She might have someone she likes and doesn't care about you. Yes? Suyu nodded and admitted this point. Wei Liao continued to raise his middle finger. Second, it proves that she's not greedy for money. Because if she's with you, she can have endless money. But she doesn't. It proves that she's not interested in your status. That's right. Suyu gave him a thumbs up. Wei Liao's analysis was completely correct. Thirdly, it proves that she has a strong personality. To put it bluntly, she's awesome. Isn't there a domineering saying on the internet? Maybe you're awesome, but I don't necessarily like you. I think the girl you like might be one of those rare awesome types. Suyu stood up and patted Wei Liao's shoulder. I think you are awesome too, Zhuge Liang. Looks like I'm right. Wei Liao smiled confidently. It's perfect, that's all. So, tell me, what should I do to get her? Rape? Get lost. Seeing Wei Liao's nonsense, Suyu lost his patience. Really, I'm not teasing you. Young master's idea is to fuck her if you like her. Even if it's rape, it doesn't matter if you go to jail. If you're afraid of going to jail, then you don't have the right to say that you love her. If you go to jail, then wait until you're released. After you're released, continue to rape her. Are you a clown sent by monkeys? Suyu's face was completely black. He originally wanted to ask this guy for advice, but what kind of ideas did he come up with? It was simply a scam. On the other side, after the press conference, Qin Chu immediately rushed home. After having dinner with Huamin, the two of them were very free. Huamin suggested that they go watch a movie. He said that there was a big Hollywood movie called Fantasy Forest, and the 3D scenes were very shocking. Qin Chu doted on his wife, so naturally he would listen to whatever she said. In the end, the two of them drove to a nearby Wanda Plaza. Perhaps because it was the weekend, there were a lot of people. Qin Chu went to buy the tickets, popcorn and Coke. This made Huamin very happy. She didn't think that Qin Chu would be so considerate. She didn't know that Qin Chu bought the tickets because he had watched a movie with Yang and his wife last time. However, when Huamin received the tickets, she was a little dumbfounded. Reserved the whole place? Yeah, VIP room, just the two of us. Qin Chu nodded. But won't it be scary? Huamin was afraid that fewer people would watch a movie and she would feel insecure. It's okay, I'm here. It's because you're here that I'm scared. I don't know what you'll do to me. Huamin said in all seriousness. Qin Chu, haha, I was just kidding, did you really think I was serious? Huamin couldn't help but laugh when she saw Qin Chu's dumbfounded expression. As the two of them chatted and laughed, a familiar voice suddenly shouted, Sis? Huamin turned around, and her expression changed drastically. Chapter 276. Huamin and Qin Chu didn't expect to run into Jing Jixin here. Jing Jixin came with a female classmate. She was a shy girl who wore glasses and wasn't very pretty. Jixin, why are you here? Huamin asked. My classmate and I came to watch a movie. We just bought it. Huamin felt a bit awkward. Sis, this is my classmate, Zheng Yanru, Jing Jixin introduced. Then he said, this is my sister, Huamin. Then, Jing Jixin looked at Qin Chu and said, this is my sister's boyfriends. Hi, sis, hi, brother-in-law. Zheng Yanru was shy and greeted them shyly. Qin Chu nodded slightly in return. Huamin felt very embarrassed. If he knew that he would be found out, he would have just told Jixin the truth. Oh hi, sis, which movie are you guys watching? Jing Jixin didn't seem to mind that his sister and Qin Chu were together. We're watching the Fantasy Forest. We're watching that too. Why don't we go together? Jing Jixin was a bit happy. No, you guys go watch it, Huamin politely declined. However, Qin Chu said, then let's go together. There are a lot of empty couches in the VIP room anyway. Really? That's great. We're VIP, we'll benefit from it. Jing Jixin smiled. Finally, the four of them walked into the theater together. They sat on the loose couches. The girl was very reserved and would secretly tug on Jing Jixin's sleeve from time to time, whispering something to him. Qin Chu, on the other hand, kept his arm around Huamin's waist. Although he really wanted to do something more intimate, his brother-in-law was right in front of him, so he couldn't do it. After awkwardly watching the movie, the four of them walked out together. "Sis, are you hungry? Do you want to eat something?" "No." Huamin immediately refused. The atmosphere was really awkward. She was with Qin Chu behind Jixin's back, and Jixin was also in a relationship behind her back. "Oh my God. It's getting late. Let's go back first. We can go together another day if we have the chance." Qin Chu was more polite. "Okay, brother Qin Chu, we'll leave first. Be careful." Jing Jixin happily said goodbye to Qin Chu and Huamin. Before he left, he didn't forget to remind his sister, "Be nice to Qin Chu, don't be too mean. Mind your own business, you little brat." Huamin knocked Jixin on the head. Actually, Jixin had a reason for saying this. When Huamin and Qin Chu were dating, Jixin had a lot of things to say. Huamin was 17 years old, while Jing Jixin was only 12 years old. However, he witnessed how his sister treated his future brother-in-law. On the way back, Huamin was a little absent-minded. "What's wrong? Are you afraid that Jixin will tell your mom?" Qin Chu drove with one hand and tightly held onto Huamin's hand with the other. Huamin shook his head. "No, I'm worried about Jixin." "You're worried that the girl got close to him because he drove the sports car I gave him?" Qin Chu hit the nail on the head. Huamin immediately nodded. "Don't worry, he's old enough to deal with things his own way. Jixin is too naive. I'm just worried that he'll get hurt." "Then you can't take care of him forever. He has to grow up on his own." Huamin nodded. Then he tiredly laid his head on Qin Chu's lap. "If you do this, I won't be able to control myself." "What are you thinking? Focus on driving." Huamin secretly pinched Qin Chu's thigh and gritted his teeth in anger. "Jixin just told you to be gentle with me. How about you and Jixin?" Huamin rolled her eyes at him. Qin Chu pursed his lips. He was amused and didn't dare to provoke his mistress anymore. Perhaps it was because lying on Qin Chu's lap was too relaxing, so he actually fell asleep. When Huamin woke up, he found that they were still in the car. An hour had already passed. "Are you crazy? Why didn't you wake me up?" Huamin shot up. "You were sleeping too soundly." Chapter 277. "But you can't just let me sleep on your lap." Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Qin Chu's love for her had spoiled her to the point that she was out of control. The two of them stayed in the Maybach for an hour. Wanda Plaza was less than 10 minutes away from Imperial Park. Just like that, Huamian fell asleep on Qin Chu's lap for an hour. During this hour, Qin Chu sat there quietly. What a quiet and handsome man. "It doesn't matter, as long as you slept well. Honey, you're so good to me, I'll be proud." "You have the right to be proud. Hey, let's go upstairs." Huamin opened the car door. Just as she was about to get out, she realized that her legs were numb. Maybe it was because she was sleeping in such a comfortable position that she couldn't feel her legs at all. She couldn't even muster up any strength. What's wrong?" "Alex, don't move, I'll carry you." Qin Chu walked over and reached out his hands to carry her. Huamin suddenly said, "Honey, carry me upstairs." Qin Chu paused for a moment, then said one word. Huamin suddenly wanted Qin Chu to carry her. It was more romantic. With Qin Chu's body and strength, it was easy for him to carry her. There was no pressure at all. She thought they were going to take the elevator up, but why did the scene change? "Hey, the elevator is over there." Huamin pointed to the other side. "I know. Then why are you still walking this way?" "I want to take the stairs." "Brother, we're on the 16th floor." "I know. Then why are you still walking?" "It's just the 16th floor, it doesn't matter. I just want time to slow down and enjoy our time together. If one day I'm old, I won't be able to carry you anymore. So, while I'm still young, I want to carry you a few more times and leave some beautiful memories." Without waiting for Huamin's response, Qin Chu went up the first flight of stairs. Huamin felt his eyes sting. She felt that Qin Chu was the biggest idiot in the world. There was an elevator, but he chose to take the stairs. Furthermore, it was the 16th floor. Wouldn't it tire him to death? When they reached the 8th floor, Xianxia slowed down. "Hubby, I'll walk by myself." "No need." Just like that, by the time Xianxia carried Huamin back to the front door, he was already sweating profusely. His black shirt was also soaked with sweat. Along the way, Huamin was lying on Xianxia's back, enjoying the only attention in the world that belonged to her. She believed that in this world, there would never be another man who would treat her so well. No one would love her as much as Xianxia loved her. She would never allow any man to carry her on his back with a clear conscience. They were each other's one and only. They were the people that they couldn't lose in their lives. Previously, when she was with Ningxiun, she always felt that the past was the past, and her heart was as calm as still water. In the future, her life would be filled with daily necessities. However, she didn't expect that the moment Xianxia returned, her maiden heart would be ignited. They spent every day together. No matter how much she crossed the line or what she did wrong, Xianxia never once spoke loudly to her. With a husband like this, what else could she ask for in her life? Huamin felt that she was lucky to have met Xianxia. She could die without regrets. The moment she got off Xianxia's back, Huamin held his face in her hands and gently kissed the tip of his nose. She said, "Hubby, at this moment, you're the most handsome man in the world." Xianxia's eyes suddenly turned into endless gentleness. One sentence from Huamin could make him happy all night. This was magic. Xianxia didn't have time to take a shower. He picked up Huamin and pressed her down onto the soft carpet. Then he kissed her passionately on the lips. His right hand wandered from top to bottom. His movements were a little impatient. Huamin closed her eyes. Other than nervousness, she also felt happy. She really wanted to give herself to Xianxia at the right time. She didn't do it on purpose. Everything happened so naturally. His big hand slid under her collar and instantly unhooked her bra. God knows how long Xianxia had been waiting for this moment. Chapter 278. Just then, Huamin's phone began to ring. Xianxia stopped what he was doing. Someone's calling," Huamin said awkwardly. Xianxia sighed slightly. Then, he got up and handed Huamin his phone from the coffee table. It was Jixin. "Jixin? Sis, are you home yet?" "Yeah, what's up?" "Nothing, I just wanted to tell you not to worry. I won't tell Mom about this. Even if you didn't tell me, I already guessed it. After you broke up with Xiuan, he called me twice. I also felt that it might have something to do with Xianxia. Plus, Brother Xianxia gave me a car last time, so I was even more convinced." "I'm sorry, Jixin, I didn't mean to hide it from you." "I know, sis, it's okay. I'm not blaming you, I just don't want you to feel burdened. I'm different from Mom. I support you in pursuing your own happiness. As your biological brother, I will always support your decisions unconditionally, as long as you're happy." "Thank you, Bli. There's no need to thank me, I should be the one thanking you. Thank you for taking care of this family and taking care of me and Mom all these years." "Jixin, that female classmate of yours, she's not my girlfriend, sis. She does have feelings for me, but I won't like her. She only approached me after I got a sports car. I know what she wants." "It's good that you're rational. Plus, you're still young, and it's not easy for you to fall in love. You'll also have to worry about finding a job in the future. Things aren't that simple." "I understand, sis." "That's good, go to bed early. Yeah, thank Xianxia for me. It's really great." After saying this, Jixin hung up. Huamin looked at Xianxia embarrassed. "Jixin told me to thank you for the car. So this is how he pays me back? He called me at such a critical time? He must have found the time, right?" Xianxia really wanted to tell Jixin, that brat, to drive his car back. He was such an ingrate for ruining Xianxia's plans. Cough cough. Huamin coughed dryly. In the end, Jixin messed up everything that was supposed to happen so naturally. Xianxia went upstairs to take a shower. After he came out, he received a call from his father, who began to talk about the company's recent new project. Huamin waited for a long time, but when he didn't come back, he fell asleep. The next day at work, as soon as she arrived at the hospital, she was called to the conference room for a meeting. He thought it was just a normal staff meeting, but he found that there were a lot of people present today. And they were all big shots. The one sitting in the middle was actually President Wu. Huamin, you're here. Have a seat, President Wu greeted Huamin. This made the head nurses from the other departments very envious. How's work recently? Pretty good. Thank you, President Wu, for your concern. Xiao Xue is recovering well. On behalf of my family, I would like to thank you again. No, it's really nothing. President Wu, if it were anyone else, I would do the same. President Wu thanked him in front of so many people, making Huamin feel very uncomfortable. He was never someone who liked to be in the limelight. Everyone, don't be so reserved. The theme of this meeting is to update and reform. If you have any good ideas, feel free to raise them. Nowadays, innovation is encouraged. If we can't keep up with the times, we will be eliminated sooner or later. Okay, let's begin. Everyone, feel free to speak, President Wu's assistant said into the microphone, and the meeting officially began. President Wu, I have a suggestion. Okay, go ahead. President Wu was very happy that Huamin took the initiative to speak. Can you ask the hospital's medical staff to change my uniform? The skirt is really too short. After Huamin finished speaking, everyone looked at him strangely. President Wu was also slightly surprised. Chapter 279. Ahem. Huamin's suggestion is not bad. The uniform style has been around for a few years and is about to be phased out. After a while, it's inevitable that people will get tired of it. This is a good idea, the department director flattered. In reality, most people at Southside were well informed. There were no secrets to speak of. Everyone more or less knew that President Wu valued Huamin. They also knew that Huamin had saved President Wu's niece's life in the middle of the night. Therefore, the department director immediately agreed with Huamin's first suggestion. Wang Lin also nodded. President Wu, Huamin is right. After all, this is a hospital. It's better for the uniform to be more dignified. Note this down. I'll immediately rectify it when I get back, President Wu said to his assistant beside him. The male assistant immediately took out a small notebook and wrote it down. Does anyone else have any other opinions? President Wu looked around. In reality, this kind of meeting was held every quarter. Everyone was used to it, so no one was willing to raise an opinion. If they did, they would be scolded for being in the limelight. If they didn't, they would be scolded for not being realistic. After a minute of silence, Huamin looked left and right. He felt that no one was willing to say anything, so he raised his hand again. Huamin, please continue, President Wu called out. President Wu, I think that Southside needs to be completely rectified. The atmosphere is too bad. I don't know if you've heard the rumors about Southside, but a lot of them are unpleasant to hear. The truth is, Southside really wants to be the best recuperation area. We want to prioritize the recovery of our patients and not mess around. The hospital's medical team is still lacking. If something happens to a patient during recuperation, we won't be able to live with ourselves if we miss the best time to rescue them. Therefore, I hope that you can send more highly skilled medical experts to take charge. Also, the professional standards of the female nurses in this district need to be improved. I suggest that we implement regular training, regular examinations, and a system of rewards and punishments to motivate everyone. Finally, I hope that you, Director, can sweep away the unhealthy atmosphere in our southern district and return a healthy and green medical habitat to the people. That's all, thank you. After Huamin finished his long speech, everyone was dumbfounded. In the end, it was President Wu who led the applause. The applause was thunderous, and President Wu gave him a look of approval. Huamin was indeed a good seedling. He was right. Huamin said it very well. Everyone, don't be afraid to speak up. If you have something to say, say it. Director, I heard that head nurse Hua only graduated from a third-rate university in our city, and she didn't even study medicine. She's still young, so some of her words might just be theoretical. Reform can't happen overnight, so please think twice before you act. Sure enough, there was an opposing voice, one of the vice directors of Southside, Guiyumin. He was a veteran doctor who had been practicing medicine for 20 years and was later promoted to vice director. It was said that he had an extremely bad reputation and often slept with the pretty female nurses in the district. However, no one dared to offend him. He and Huamin had never crossed paths. Huamin wasn't a beauty, so he didn't like her. However, Huamin's colleague, Tingting, was one of his bedmates. Therefore, after Tingting complained about Huamin a few times, Gui Yumin remembered it. When he saw Huamin shine today, he felt like she was stealing the limelight, so he was very unhappy. Huamin laughed. Vice Director, you're wrong. Education doesn't represent ability. You can't reject my suggestion just because I'm not educated. That's not fair. Fair? Is fairness to listen to the nonsense of a nurse who has no experience at all? Talking about reform? But isn't the purpose of today's meeting supposed to be for us to freely voice our opinions? Huamin retorted. Voicing your opinions is a rational way of looking at the problem, not a delusional attempt to break the original tradition. It was obvious that the vice director didn't want to reform Southside. Vice director, I've always been rational, and my analysis is very impressive. Southside does need to improve its professionalism and medical standards. Only then can we go further, Huamin calmly replied. So, what right do you have to lecture us old doctors who have been practicing medicine for many years? The vice director's face darkened. Chapter 280. Song Lin couldn't stand it anymore. She stood up and said, Deputy Director, I recommended Huamin for promotion. I also think highly of her. I know her well. She saved a pregnant woman in the first hospital and performed an emergency C-section. A few days ago, she also saved President Wu's niece, Dr. Wu Xiaoxua. Isn't that enough? That's stupid. Individualistic. She's just trying to be in the limelight. She almost ruined our hospital's century-old reputation. Huamin smiled elegantly. She stood up and nodded politely to the doctors and leaders sitting around her. Then she asked with a smile, I heard that Deputy Director Gui used to be an expert in neurology. Is that true? Yes so? The Deputy Director glanced at Huamin arrogantly and replied, Very good. Then, as an expert in neurology, you should know how to deal with the routine care of neurology patients in the later stages, right? Do you still need to ask such a simple question? But the database I got from Southside shows that we receive a large number of neurology patients every year, but very few of them recover. Why is that? As everyone knows, neurology patients are very difficult to cure. Even hospitals can't cure them. As a sanatorium, how can we cure them? Are you kidding me? I'm not kidding. I'm serious. Although neurology patients are very difficult to cure, clinical trials in the United States show that if the later stages of treatment are properly taken care of, the patients will feel better. In other words, the follow-up recuperation is more important than the early-stage treatment. However, as an expert in this area, you don't pay attention to this point, which leads to the loss of many neurology patients every year. I'm not an expert in neurology and I don't have a professional education, but I've read a lot of books and often observed patients' conditions when I was in school. When I was in the first hospital, I saw a lot of similar clinical cases, so I've done some research. Okay. I'd like to see how an ignorant nurse like you would analyze our department of neurology. In the deputy director's opinion, Huamin's approach was ridiculous. It was nothing more than asking for humiliation. It was difficult for a non-professional doctor to answer professional questions. Huamin picked up the glass and took a sip of water. He then looked around and said, What I'm about to say is my personal opinion. If I've said something wrong, please forgive me. President Wu gave him an encouraging look and nodded at Huamin. She nodded in response and said, The nervous system consists of the central nervous system formed by the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system formed by the cranial nerves and spinal nerves. The symptoms and signs of neurology were consciousness disorder, speech disorder, sensory disorder, movement disorder, speech disorder, seizures, amnesia syndrome, brain hernia, and so on. As for the follow-up recuperation of these patients, the general nursing care must meet a few standards. First, the ward must be kept quiet, clean, and ventilated. For the more serious patients, visits must be reduced. Second, rest and lying position. Chronic patients are encouraged to get out of bed and move around, but to avoid fatigue, consciousness disorder, and excessive respiratory secretions, the semi-recumbent or lateral position is mandatory. Third, nutrition and diet. For these patients, they must eat more fresh vegetables and fruits to facilitate the unobstructed bowel movement. For those with complex dysphagia, a viscous, semi-liquid diet should be adopted. They must be careful when eating and slow down to avoid choking and suffocation. For those with severe dysphagia, nasal feeding should be given. After eating, they must maintain a semi-recumbent position for 30 to 60 minutes before returning to their original position. In addition to these, there are also daily care, skin care, drainage care, pharmacotherapy care, and observation of the patient's condition. For individual patients, post-cerebrovascular intervention care is required. After discharge, discharge guidance is required to guide the patient to come back for regular checkups. Some patients must also be cautiously warned about the precautions after recuperation, such as forbidding asexuality and lumbar puncture for patients with high intracranial blood pressure to avoid inducing brain hernia. Due to time constraints, I won't introduce you one by one, but I believe that all of you understand. Overall, I feel that the recuperation area has a great responsibility and obligation for the patient's subsequent recuperation. I hope that all of you will take this seriously. Thank you, everyone. Wamin did not repeat a single word, nor did she make a single mistake. She did not speak quickly, but her voice was clear and melodious. When she finished speaking, the older professional doctors were all dumbfounded. Deputy Director Guo's expression changed again and again. Huamin's words did not sound like something a junior head nurse would say. She was clearly a doctor in neurology. Deputy Director Guo, what do you think of Huamin's words? President Wu asked Gui Yumin in a serious tone. Chapter 281. That's very good. Although Deputy Director Guo didn't want to admit this cruel truth, he couldn't lie in front of so many experts. Thank you, Deputy Director. Huamin smiled slightly. President Wu waved his hand. Huamin, take a seat. Huamin nodded and sat down. President Wu added a lot of things. An hour later, the meeting ended. As Huamin was about to leave, he was stopped by President Wu's assistant. Huamin, wait a second, the director is looking for you. Everyone in the meeting room left one after another. In the end, only Huamin and President Wu were left. Huamin, you did well today. No, I was just stating facts. Huamin was a little embarrassed. I will improve your suggestion as soon as possible. Southside should have changed a long time ago. It's just that every time we have a meeting, everyone is just trying to take advantage of the situation. No one wants to be the first one to step forward, so I don't have an excuse. Today, you made me feel a lot better. You're right about one thing, doctors should act like doctors. We can't mess up the atmosphere. Hey, director, don't listen to me. I'm just stating my opinion. It's just a woman's opinion. No, your words are very useful. I've learned a lot, but there's something I've always regretted. What is it? Huamin was a little confused. You're so talented, why don't you take the doctor's exam? You're still young. If you go all out, you'll definitely achieve something in the medical field. Last week, the Royal Hospital of England offered you an exchange spot. It's an in-depth discussion on ophthalmology. I really want you to go. What do you think? President Wu, I'm not familiar with ophthalmology, haha. You don't have to hide it from me, I know everything. Before Xiao Xue and Ning Ziyuan got married, I had someone investigate him. You were the one who wrote all his papers on ophthalmology, right? Huamin felt a little embarrassed after being exposed. I'm sorry, President Wu. I shouldn't have helped him lie to you. No, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just that with your talent, it's a pity for you to stay in Southside and be a little head nurse. I still hope to train you. It doesn't matter if you don't work in our hospital after you finish your studies. Director Wu, thank you for your help, but I don't want to go to England. I think my current job is pretty good. It's fulfilling, busy, and enjoyable. Actually, a person's life doesn't have to be filled with fame and benefits to be successful. When I set a good position for myself and do my part well, I think that's the most meaningful life. For example, the sanitation workers are ordinary people who sweep the streets day after day, but because of their hard work, they bring a clean look to our city. We can't say that it's a pity for them, but we can only say that everyone has their own ambitions. As for me, I just want to be quiet and be by my family's side, doing a job that I like, and earning a salary until I retire. I don't have any big goals in life, and being ordinary is a blessing. I finally understand why Dr. Qin treats you so well. Anyways, you're a great girl. I believe you'll always be happy like this. President Wu didn't say it too directly, but with his intelligence, he must have guessed the relationship between Qin Chu and Huamin. Thank you for your blessings. After saying goodbye to President Wu, Huamin walked out of the conference room. She was in a good mood. She really hoped that South Side could be reformed. She wanted it to become a green rehabilitation center, not a yellow one. If she remembered correctly, this was the third time that President Wu said he wanted to send her abroad to study. For others, this might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but she casually rejected it. To be honest, for Huamin, being able to be by Qin Chu's side was her greatest happiness. She didn't want anything else. When she got home from work, Qin Chu had just come home and was preparing dinner. Huamin walked in and hugged Qin Chu's broad waist from behind. She acted like a spoiled child. Mr. Qin, thank you for your hard work. Are you hungry? Qin Chu turned around and gently cupped Huamin's face. Chapter 282. The Mitchum, I'm hungry. What's good tonight? Huamin stuck out her tongue. You'll find out soon, go wash your hands. Huamin then went upstairs to change into a light red set of pajamas, washed her hands, and went downstairs. Qin Chu had already brought out all the dishes. It was actually a seafood feast, spicy stir-fried sea cucumber, steamed crab, poached clams, steamed scallops with garlic and vermicelli, poached conch, and her favorite, steamed mantis shrimp. Did you go to the seafood market? No, I had the company buy it from a fisherman. It'll be fresher if we catch it on a boat. Honey, you know me so well. Huamin was almost drooling as she looked at the table full of seafood. Eat as much as you like, but first, drink some ginger soup to warm up your stomach. Then, Qin Chu handed her a bowl of brown sugar ginger water. Huamin felt warm inside when she saw Qin Chu's meticulous care. But you'll get gastroenteritis if you eat seafood. What are you eating? Huamin was a bit worried. I made noodles with shredded pork and pickled vegetables. But I'm eating seafood, and you're eating noodles. Won't it seem like I'm bullying you? We've been married for so long, but you've never been bullying me. Mr. Qin, don't be so dirty, I'm being serious. I've always been serious, Qin Chu replied as he lowered his head and ate a mouthful of noodles. Okay, I knew you were teasing me. Honey, President Wu came to Southside for a meeting today, and he said, he wants to send me to the Royal Hospital in the UK as an exchange doctor. What do you think? Huamin asked on purpose. After she spoke, she secretly glanced at Qin Chu to see his reaction. As expected, Qin Chu's hand, which was holding chopsticks, paused slightly. Then he looked up at Huamin and said, the Royal Hospital is one of the best in the world. If you have the opportunity to go, it'd be great. But I'll be gone for half a year. Will you miss me when I leave? No, Qin Chu answered straightforwardly. Huamin was slightly disappointed. He lowered his head and ate the mantis shrimp silently. At this moment, Qin Chu added, I'll accompany you to England. We'll be together every day. What's there to think about? You're going to England too? What about GK? Huamin opened his eyes wide. That's my father's business. It has nothing to do with me. Hubby, you're so good, Huamin said sweetly. Then she continued to smile. Actually, I'm just teasing you. I've already rejected President Wu. I don't want to go to England. My family is here and I don't want to leave. I'm already very satisfied with my current state of life. Mian, if you really want to go, I'll go with you. Qin Chu knew that studying medicine used to be Huamin's biggest dream. Huamin shook his head. I don't want to go. Everyone's dreams are different at every age. I might have wanted to study medicine before, but now I'm fine with what I have. Why would I want to change my current state of life? No matter what decision you make, I'll support you. If you're the emperor, you'll be a fatuous one, huh? Huamin laughed happily. If it's because of you, then what's wrong with being a fatuous emperor? Qin Chu didn't think much of it and said confidently. After a satisfying seafood meal, the two fell asleep in each other's arms. The next morning, Huamin went to work early. It was 8:45 a.m. when he saw Tingting arrive. I was stuck in traffic. Tingting didn't seem to realize the consequences of being late. If you're late for 5 minutes, you'll be fined 100 yuan. If you're late for 10 minutes, you'll be fined 200 yuan. You're late for 15 minutes, so you'll have to come to the finance department to pay a fine of 300 yuan before 11, Huamin said in a formal tone. What gives you the right to do that? Tingting was immediately enraged. She glared at Huamin. Chapter 283. Because I'm your boss. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you're a head nurse. You haven't even been here as long as I have. Let me tell you, if you dare to deduct my salary, I'm not done with you. Tingting, when head nurse Wang Lin was here, you would call her in advance even if you were stuck in traffic, so she never complained about your tardiness. If you had told me in advance, I wouldn't be such an unreasonable person, but you didn't respect me. I'll say it again, if you respect me, I'll respect you. If you don't respect me, then I won't let you bully me. You don't have to pay the fine, but I'll ask the higher-ups to fire you. That's all. Huamin, you bitch? Wang Tingting was so angry that she kept cursing Huamin behind her. She always felt that Huamin was purposely picking on her and trying to make things difficult for her. The truth was, Huamin was just doing her job. Because Southside had already begun to reorganize, she had a private meeting with the other head nurses. They began to reorganize the nurses who were in charge of the bad practices. They would be fined for being late or leaving early, and they would also be given demerit points for their mistakes. President Wu quickly approved and decided to completely reorganize Southside. Huamin became the catalyst for this reorganization. Although her professionalism was commendable, she was hated by many people, and she was even isolated. During lunch, no one wanted to sit at the same table as her, and they all talked about her in private. However, Huamin was already used to it. She never cared about what others said. In the afternoon, Huamin went to room 2 to check on Uncle Lu and found that he had already packed up. Uncle, you were discharged this afternoon, right? That's right. In the blink of an eye, we've been here for more than 2 months. Time really flies. Uncle Lu smiled kindly. Your body is recovering well. You just need to strictly control your diet. You absolutely can't drink alcohol or eat sweets. I know. You're such a nag. I'm doing this for your own good. I know. Actually, I really like you. It's a pity that you didn't become my granddaughter-in-law. Uncle Lu sighed. Look, here we go again. Huamin covered his mouth and laughed. I heard that you already have a boyfriend. I wonder which family's kid is so lucky. Anyway, you've taken good care of me during this period of time. Let's keep in touch in the future. If you're free, come to my house and play a game of chess with me. All right, don't worry, sir. As long as you take good care of yourself and recover well, I'll go and visit you. I really can't bear to part with it. Why don't the two of us play a round now? I'll ask the car to wait for me. I don't think that's a good idea. Huamin looked troubled. Just one plate, okay? Don't go easy on me this time. Let's do our best. Without waiting for Huamin to finish, Uncle Lu excitedly took out a Chinese chess set and started playing it like a child. Huamin was helpless. He didn't have the heart to refuse the old man's wish, so he could only play a game with him. In the end, Huamin won by a small margin. Uncle Lu gave him a thumbs up. You're so smart, kid. You're so cunning. You set up traps step by step and fooled an old man like me. All's fair in war. Huamin smiled. Let's go. Remember to visit me. In the end, Uncle Lu was escorted out of the hospital by his family. To be honest, Huamin was quite reluctant to see him go. Many new patients came to the orthopedics department one after another. However, since Huamin was already the head nurse, he didn't take care of the patients personally. In the afternoon, Wang Tingting suddenly came over and asked the nurses in the department, "Head nurse, I heard that you used your working hours to play chess with the patients in the afternoon. Isn't that a mistake? Shouldn't you pay the fine? Don't tell me that you have special privileges." Chapter 284. Huamin was writing at her desk when she heard Wang Tingting yelling. She didn't even raise her head as she pulled out a ticket. It showed that she had just paid a fine of 500 yuan. In other words, she went to the finance department to pay the fine after playing chess with the old man. Wang Tingting was furious when she saw the fine, but she couldn't say a word. To be honest, she had never seen someone as crazy as Huamin. She even paid the fine herself. Is there anything else? If there's nothing else, go back to work. If you have time, practice drawing blood and administering needles. If a patient complains in the future, you'll be fined. The nurses didn't dare to say anything else and immediately left the room. This Huamin is such a jerk. I'm confused. A woman like her has no looks, no figure, and her clothes are so old-fashioned. I really don't know why young Master Su would fall for her. Wang Tingting was envious, jealous, and hateful. But even so, I heard that the head nurse rejected young Master Su. Another new nurse chimed in. What do you mean rejected? That's hilarious. You're all too young. Let me tell you, the rejection was only on the surface. Who knows, she might have already climbed into young Master Su's bed. Don't think of her as such a noble person. The more decent a woman looks on the surface, the more slutty she is on the inside. I've seen plenty of women like her. After Wang Tingting said that, the other nurses began to chime in as well. However, Huamin didn't care what they said. Her principle was to be herself. After all, she couldn't expect everyone to love her. She wasn't money, after all. When Huamin was about to get off work, she saw Wang Lin walk in. Director Song. Huamin stood up and smiled. Are you free later? Do you want to have a drink with me? Huamin didn't know how to reject Wang Lin's invitation. So, when she got off work, she sent a WeChat message to Qin Chu. Honey, I'm going out for dinner with my colleagues. I'll be back later. You're not allowed to drink, Qin Chu replied with these words and then fell silent. Understood, Lord Qin. After Huamin and Wang Lin got off work, they drove to a Korean barbecue restaurant in the city center. The interior of the private room was decorated with tatami mats. It was elegant without losing its charm. When Wang Lin changed out of her work attire, her side was also very sexy because of her large breasts. When Huamin was with her, he looked more like an airport runway, like a high school student. Director Song, is there something on your mind? No, I just admire you and want to have a meal with you. Wang Lin smiled. Admire me? Huamin was surprised. I've heard a lot about you. I didn't expect you to reject the director's recommendation to go abroad. Do you know how many people want to go to England? Oh, that matter? That really doesn't suit me. Regarding the restructuring of South Side, a lot of people are angry, but they don't dare to speak up. No one dares to mention it, but you openly confronted the vice director at the conference. You're really something else. Just based on this, I'd like to propose a toast to you. Then, before Huamin could finish, Wang Lin downed a glass of beer in one gulp. Huamin was a little embarrassed, so he had no choice but to drink as well. It's nothing, I'm just speaking the truth. When I first came to South Side, I knew it had a bad reputation, but I still wanted to come. After I came, I realized that it had everything. The environment was good, and the facilities were good, but the atmosphere was terrible. It would be a shame if a top-notch rehabilitation center was ruined because of this. I only suggested it, President Wu accepted it. Huamin, a lot of people are saying in private that you're President Wu's lover. Wang Lin stared at Huamin and said word for word. Chapter 285. Which asshole said that? Tell me, I promise I won't beat her to death. Huamin thought, President Wu is such a righteous old man, why would he slander me? Other people might believe it, but I don't. Because, when I first came to South Side, I tried to seduce President Wu to get promoted. Not only did I fail, but I was almost fired. Wow, you're brave. I had no choice. My child was sick and needed money, so I was eager for quick success. Later, the hospital director understood the situation and gave me some funding on behalf of the hospital. He even contacted an authoritative specialist for me. I'm very grateful for all of this, and that's why I've been able to work at Southside until now. Wang Lin choked up. President Wu is a righteous man, but he's too strict. Many people are afraid of him. I know. That's why I'm so grateful to you for sticking your neck out and doing so much for Southside. It's good to be young. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about your future or your family. You just have to do what you want to do. Can we be friends? I really like a girl like you. Director Song, don't say that. Just call me Lin Lin. Song Lin's eyes were filled with sincerity. When it came to paying the bill, Huamin couldn't argue with Song Lin, so she paid the bill. However, Huamin did become friends with her. When they returned to Imperial Park, it was already 10 o'clock. Qin Chu was still awake and was reading on his laptop in the living room. Come here. Qin Chu gestured with his finger. Huamin walked over in a daze and was immediately pulled into Qin Chu's arms. Then Qin Chu leaned over and sniffed. The smell of alcohol was strong, so his face darkened. You really turned a deaf ear to my words. Huamin immediately felt guilty. Honey? Don't act cute, it's useless. Qin Chu closed his laptop and looked at her with a serious expression. Today, I'm really a person in Jiang who has no choice. In Jianghu? Qin Chu raised his eyebrows and asked. Huamin nodded. What do you mean? Qin Chu stared at Huamin's little face and asked. My boss treated me to a meal. You said that he drank and asked me to drink casually. How could I not drink casually? Of course, I had to drink. He's the CFO. If I offend him, I won't be able to get my salary smoothly in the future. In order to support my family, I have to entertain others. Raise a family? My wife, you're so great. It's okay. Huamin felt a little guilty. So, I can resign as GK's president tomorrow and rely on you to support me? That's why my monthly expenses aren't that big. My food and clothes only cost about 7 to 8 million. I'll have to trouble you in the future. Honey, don't be like this. Let's talk nicely. Huamin wanted to cry but had no tears. Qin Chu's monthly expenses were at least 7 to 8 million. Even if she sold herself, it wouldn't be worth that much. I've been trying to talk nicely. What else can I do? What do you want to say? Qin Chu leaned over and pressed his lips against Huamin's. She didn't even dare to move. Honey, I was wrong. As expected, she was a good person who knew her mistakes and was willing to change. So, how should I punish you? Qin Chu looked at Huamin with amusement and asked in his devilish voice. I'll do whatever you say, Mr. Qin. You don't have to do that. You just have to fulfill your duties as a wife. Qin Chu was being very vague, but Huamin immediately understood what he meant. She truly felt that after she went to Southside, she was led astray by the nurses. Her thoughts were no longer pure. You're tuning into the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.